Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the sixth episode of the relaunch of Gaming After Dark. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Nukem in the room, and we're going to have a dynamite show for you tonight. We are bringing back a very familiar face that used to be part of this program, or, well, not this program specifically, but one of my last podcasts not so long ago, and he is doing a pretty good damn job of building his channel and putting out some content. We'll talk about that in just a second. Plus, we may have one of the big swingers from the gaming community joining us later on, hopefully, if all goes well. I will say that Proto Foxy will not be with us tonight. His job has taken him elsewhere, so he might hopefully get to stop in next week. He said this for the next week or two. Things are a little bit in limbo for him. So, but that's okay. We're still going to have a fantastic show. Like I said, I got a dynamite panel, starting with the one and the only, the Game Complainerz, a.k.a. Perry's in the building.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
It's good to see you, Perry. Hope things are good for you tonight.
Yep. You too, Noof.
Awesome. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's out in the wild now. Came out on Friday. Perry's had a chance to dabble with it just a little bit. Did a great unboxing of it as well. He'll tell you more about that later on and how you can get a link to his channel and check it out firsthand. But yeah, we're going to talk about that just a little bit. We got a couple other great topics too, like Death Stranding creeping its way onto the Xbox right out of the blue. No one expected. Next thing you know, it's on the Xbox game store and it's half price to boot. And some people really liking it. So have the Xbox community come around, since a lot of people dog shit at the game when it first came out. Hey, I was one of them for a little while, but honestly, it was mostly just, for shits and giggles more than anything else. But anyway, we've got Perry ready to go. And here he is, the one and only, straight for the northern flanks of Canada. It's Mental 9R.
What's up, man? That's quite the intro. I mean, I'm like, what, like 30 minutes from you? So
yeah, he's just down the road. We can almost spit at each other. Yeah. We got to make it a mission to meet up here soon. We got to make it a mission here sometimes, and maybe during the holidays, to meet up and have a beer, man.
Yeah, you bet. It's long overdue.
Maybe it's an eggnog or fruit juice. I don't know, but whatever floats your boat, we'll have a beverage.
Sounds like a plan. Like it.
All right, guys. Awesome, man. I hope you're doing well, though. What the hell? I thought I removed that already. Here we go. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. So, anyway, guys, welcome to Gaming After Dark. Yes, it's going to be a loaded show. We got Perry, we got Mental 9R. We are ready to go. And yes, coming up later on, maybe crossing my fingers that he shows up. The one, the only, used to be a member is Dee Batch. Yes, the tech savvy expert from the gaming community, was part of Dealer's RDX podcast not so long ago. Hopefully Dealer is doing well. Wish him all the best. And we heard good things that he is doing good, but he's very busy right now. And maybe at some point RDX gets back to business. But in the meantime, we're in business, and let's get the show rolling. Let's got a shout out to the amazing people that are in the chat already. We got a shout out to Timothy Dixon, who's live in the chat. Talos Ray is with us tonight. Good to see you, my friend. We've also got Dravenero is in the building. We got the one, the only Fazza. Frank is in the house. What's good, Frank? Good to see you, my friend. Guys, hit that like button. Share this stuff out. Let's get some people up in this building. I think we're going to have to do some giveaways coming up here pretty soon with the holidays as well. So, because, yeah, I mean, it is the holidays, and it's about the season of giving. So, yes, I definitely think we're going to try to get some giveaways coming up during the month of December. So keep an eye out for that. But anyway, let's get right into the biscuits. And we're going to start off with Perry, because Perry actually had his hands on with the damn thing. We're talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro. It is out in the wild. Now, we're getting a lot of mixed reviews. If you've been watching YouTube, you've been watching your favorite streamers and YouTube personalities and everybody in between, the guys over at Digital Foundry, so on and so forth, it seems to be a little bit of a mixed reaction. Now, before I get it right into Perry, the thing that I'm going to chalk it up to this. And I don't necessarily think it's not a good piece of equipment. There is some pretty good spec underneath the box here, but I also think we're back in the same scenario that we saw during the PS4 Pro era and the Xbox One X era, is where the games are utilizing some of the technology, but I don't think they're gonna go like it's not. Remember when the PS4 Pro came out and the One X came out? Jeez, I keep calling it Series X. The One X. Like, it took a while before a lot of the games really started to utilize some of the capability of the units. I think that's also the case here. It's going to take a while for developers to really tap in, maybe go back, take the extra effort and time to upgrade some of those games through patches and what have you. So while I think it's definitely going to be a really cool unit to have, my biggest question, and I know Mental probably feels the same, especially up here north of the border, it's $900 and something. Is that worth the price? Because right now, at least here in Canada, you can get a pretty damn good gaming PC for pretty close to the same price. So that's kind of the perspective. But anyway, I'm going to shut my big yap. I want to find out how Perry feels about the PS5 Pro, and then we'll get Mental's take on the whole thing. Go away. Take it away, Perry. What's your takeaway from the little bit you've kind of dabbled with it so far?
Well, you want me to read that super chat first?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get it out of the way. We've got our good friend at the Jaguar Gaming Network in the house, as well as Michael Monkey Punch Lugo. But Jaguar Gaming drops the first super chat of the evening. He drops $2.
Says, love you, Noof. I've been lurking while working. There you go.
Well, we're glad that you're lurking while you're working and not jerking while you're working. So that's, that's right. Sticky jobs indeed. Good to see you, man. RWK88 is in the building. Yes, they're all coming in here one at a time. But anyway, Perry, take it away, my friend. Give us your take. I guess starting with the build, what was in the box. I mean, if you have one close, I mean, you said you could unbox one, but I mean, if you have one close, you can even kind of hold up or.
Oh, I got a box. I got 2 boxes right here.
Go for it, man. How about her? How about her? We got all night. We got a long show coming up here. So there it is. The behemoth. Oh, he almost pulled a groin. It's the the green screen is not doing any justice because it's black. That's better. I guess. There you go. It's in a big black box. The PS5 Pro. Anyway. That kind of disappears at the green screen. But yeah, there you go.
So I'll say this. I got 5 of them and only paid for part of one of them. And what happened was GameStop was doing a trade-in deal. I traded in before GameStop was even doing deals. They were giving a lot of money for like the Series X and the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 digital. About a month ago, me and Frank in the chat room, Fazah, we took all our consoles. We went over there to GameStop and we dumped them all. And I had about $2,100 in store credit. So, and we waited. Then I took some games that I didn't really use anymore. And then I found out that GameStop takes Xbox 360 games for trade-in. And some of the sports games that aren't even worth money, they're giving $9 for.
What? Really?
And I'm like,
weird.
Okay. So I just brought a bunch of crappy games that I had laying around, just added up. So, and I was able to get 4 of them and a disk drive without paying anything, just on my store credit. And then the final machine, I still had store credit left over, but I ended up having to pay like an extra $320 cash. That was it.
That's pretty damn good, man. 5 free units. Now
I wasn't paying $700 of cash for this thing, and I'll tell you what: is it worth the money? That's up to you. I personally don't think it's worth $700. Right. I think they should have dropped the price of the original, which they kind of announced today. They're dropping it like $40 or something. They're claiming it's $80, but whatever. I don't know. But
I think the digital's like $379 US.
Yeah, they dropped it because they're saying, "Oh, well, it used to be $449." I'm like, come on, the fat one was $399. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's them using their little mind tricks on everybody.
Xbox put the Series X down too, did they not? Like $50 off or something?
$50, but the digital is the same price. So,
which is weird up here in Canada because they boosted, they put it up by $50. Now they're taking $50 off, so it's basically back to regular price again.
Yeah.
Slap. Stupid boys. Go ahead.
I would say that they should have dropped the price of the regular PlayStation, the slim PlayStation 5. They should have dropped that and maybe charged $599 for this one to compete with that 2 terabyte Series X.
Yeah,
because maybe that 2 terabyte Series X wouldn't be $599. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
if they would have priced accordingly. But I think Sony was like, you know what? We're number one. Our fan base loves us. They're paying $700 with no disk drive. They want it. They can buy it separately, and they got away with it.
Is this going to create a lot of? I mean, like I said, we're focusing on the price, and that's fine because it is a major deal breaker or deal sealer in most cases. But look, like for us, we kind of understand how this works. But now there's a lot of SKUs out there right now, right? There's a lot of SKUs in the stores. Is this going to confuse the living shit out of people, especially the average consumer walking into the store this year? Are they going to know what the hell is up? Because one's got a disk drive, one doesn't, one is digital. You got the slim, you got the older model still kicking around. There's a lot of confusion out there, a lot of price points right now.
A lot of confusion.
This is going to be kind of crazy for the consumer this year.
I still have people that ask me why I don't sell brand new Wii games anymore. And I'm like, because the Wii is like long gone. And they're like, really? And I was like, yeah, the Switch is out. What's the Switch? I never heard of it. And I'm like, wow. Just because you bought the Wii 20 years ago doesn't mean they haven't made new machines. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It is confusing. It's confusing for me half the time. When I do these unboxings, I have I have the Xbox Series X all digital edition. It's like, what are we doing here? Just make the freaking Xbox. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you already cut the price. So what was the point of all these other SKUs?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're in the retail business. You must see this quite a bit. You were just kind of like scratching your head or like, oh, here comes this question again.
Well, the current Xbox is the same price as the all digital Series X. Wouldn't you drop the price of the old digital Series? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Why'd you even make it if you're going to drop the price anyway? Like, it's confusing. And I have people that come in and they don't know what the hell's going on. They're like, oh, I'd like to buy an Xbox One. I was like, for Starfield. And I'm like, it doesn't work on Xbox One. Oh, I saw it on the internet. It says Xbox One X. I was like, no, it's Series X. And they're like, oh, well, how much is that? And I tell them, and they're like, I don't need to play it, and they walk out. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't need it that bad.
Oh, that explains some of the sales being down right now.
Yeah. So I mean, it's confusing. It could be if you're not in the gaming like we are. It's very confusing for people. They have no idea.
Oh man, I tell you. I mean, like I said, how many times do I keep going my Xbox One X and Series X, even just getting the names all the time, fucking mixed up. God dang. Yeah. So price wise, yeah, I would say right now, I mean, I got obviously if you've been able to pull some great deals like you did, Perry, with the trade-ins and credits and stuff, fine. I think the majority of people that I've talked to personally that I know already have one have pretty much done exactly what you did. They just traded their older units, their whatever, maybe you know, their older Xboxes too, and got a little extra trade credit bump and got a unit. So that's cool. Right. I mean, if it really doesn't cost you a whole lot at the end of the day, it's probably better off to have the best version of whatever console's going than having 5 different consoles kicking around your house, especially if they're all running sort of the same, most of the same spec and backwards compatibility options as well, right? Like that's like me. The only reason I still have my One X kicking around was because it's the Gears of War Special Edition.
Right.
I probably would have traded it long ago and just kept the Series X, but again, I don't want to get rid of my One X because I love that console and it's a limited edition. Like thing is kind of worth more money now, and I would never get a bump in trade on that one just because it's got Gears 5 on it. So
you'd be better off just selling it because they go for a lot. Limited editions on the used market, they go for a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm keeping that one. That's Gears, man. Like I can't get rid of that. Yes, and I will put this out there for those who don't know already. I think wasn't it Frank or Anthony that was saying they couldn't wait to hear my take on the fact that I sold my Series X.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is true.
I'm
finally,
New
Nukem has sold. Yes, Nukenomics. But the thing is, I didn't sell it and get anything else this time. I just used the money to pay down a couple of bills that I had, and that's pretty much it. I've been basically entrenched into the PlayStation ecosystem a lot more outside of Call of Duty the last little while, and I might get another one down the road. We'll see, but it largely depends on the direction that Microsoft is going to take or continues not to take, and it also depends on the next Gears game, which is going to be a make or break for me. So, I mean, if that ends up coming to PlayStation, I really have no need for an Xbox at that point. So that's where I stand. So I'm kind of a little bit nervous now with Gears because I got a feeling that Xbox is putting shit everywhere. So the way things are going,
everybody has that. I think everyone has that feeling, and it's sad that we're in this state of just no clue as to what they're doing. Every time they they open their mouth, you seem to get a little bit of a different story. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not the way to build consumer brand confidence.
No, they've destroyed a lot of that. But anyway, I'm starting to take this off on another tangent. But yes, I did sell the Series X. Perry, back to the PlayStation 5 Pro. What was the first game that you tried on the unit, and could you see any noticeable difference? I mean, obviously the big tout is the frame rates.
Okay. Well, I have the TV, the LG C1, the C2. I have a Sony TV here. I booted up Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Yep.
I will tell you, that game, it looks like you're playing it on a PC. Not a 4090.
Yep.
But it does look like you're playing a PC version of Resident Evil 4 Remake. It looks good. But again, you have to have the TV for it.
Right.
If you don't have the TV for it, don't even worry about buying the Pro. You're good. Yes, you'll get super sampling and all that. Or if you want to buy it and then eventually upgrade your TV, that's fine. But at the price point right now, and if you don't have that TV, I don't know how much of a benefit you'll get. I could test it on an older TV and tell you guys, but I don't think it would be by much. Obviously, the textures will look good because, like I said, the super sampling and all that. But my experience with that, with the as long as you have the TV, everything looks freaking nice. So RE4 Remake, I was blown away.
I'm really glad that you brought that up, Perry. I'm really glad you brought that up because that is probably one of the most underrated or sort of, I guess, forgotten about aspects of this whole gaming thing nowadays. And that is sometimes you're only as good as the TV you play on. Because having all the spec in the world, and I think I don't know what the statistics are, but I have a good feeling that I'd say well over half of the people playing video games with these new consoles are playing on TVs that can't even utilize half the tech that the output is coming from on the consoles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're probably playing on
all the time.
$300 model LCDs, right? Like your fucking RCA or Walmart specials and that shit. Exactly. And if you've ever had like the $300 TVs, yeah, it might be fine. It might be fine to watch a DVD or movies and stuff like that. But man, when it comes to playing games, you know, the refresh rates, you know, just the OLED screens, a good panel, all that stuff makes a huge difference. The way that they project the HDR or the Dolby Vision, all that sort of stuff is way different on a high-end TV. And there's a big reason why you pay, you know, $1,500 for a good television. I mean, I'd say that's almost an average now for what you call a good television. Yeah. It's definitely in the $1,000 range. You guys can correct me on that, but I think most of them still are hovering close up there, if not more, depending on what model and what size of screen. But no, that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't realize when they look at these games, they're like, I don't really notice too much. It's like, yeah, because you're playing on a piece of shit cheap LCD.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mental's shaking his head in approval. Mental probably knows a few things about TVs. And I can tell you, I don't have the best TVs. My one downstairs is my best one. It's a 2018. It's an LG, but it's a 70-inch TV, but it's the high-end LCD. It's not an OLED, but it's one of their better models that they made. It was really fucking expensive for an LCD TV at the time, so it was one of their better ones. It's got that metal like backing to it, so you can tell it's not like your cheap low-end quality TV because it's got some heft and shit on it. So
yeah, all my TVs are actually pretty old. That's kind of the funny part. Where I put my money is in my monitors for my PC. But you know, I'll play, like, if I'm really concerned about it, I hook my console up to my PC monitor to get my best experience. But I have a hard time throwing away a perfectly good TV that still works.
Right.
So it's I mean, shit, I've got one TV. It's an old it's actually a 720p 32-inch from like ages ago. But you know what I found now? It comes in handy with my older game consoles because it has all the old inputs.
Yep.
So, you know, I've actually got that set up in here just over there with my OG Xbox, and my Sega Genesis is hooked up to it, and it works really great for that. So I'm kind of glad I didn't toss it to the curb like I've wanted to many times. I was like, when we moved here from BC, I was like, why am I moving this TV? And got here and I started setting up all my stuff, and I'm like, geez, I'm glad I got this TV. So I don't know. I was kind of kicking
I would
myself.
like to get a new one, but it's not in my budget right now. Like even the smaller versions are still like, again, I just don't have it in the budget. But I would like to get an upgrade. I would like to get a nice LG OLED, because I hear there were some of the best ones. So
That's maybe in the plans for me next year. Once we finish our basement off and there's a little more space and I can shift a few things around, I'll probably do something like that then. Pick up at least one for our main TV room, I guess you'd call it, or whatever you want to call it, where we watch movies and stuff. And I might even pick up one smaller one for in my office space here as well, just for consoles.
nice. Well, like I said, the good news is with TVs, they've come down considerably compared to where they were, and even a sort of even a semi-budget model TV now probably has, depending on which brand you go with, you can probably get like a TV that has as much tech as one of the high-end ones from a couple of years prior too. So that's the advantage, right? So patience comes to those who wait, but there's always something bigger and better. But back to the Pro as well. Like I said, you tried Resident Evil Remake. You said it looked amazing. Looked like PC Perry. What about like things like the size and weight? Is it comparable to the slimmer models now? Because it definitely looks a lot smaller than the PlayStation 5 Fat model, the old ones.
It's probably just a pinch heavier than the slim model, but I can lift it up. I mean, not like the original Fat model. I forget it. You couldn't even lift that stupid thing. I think their packaging for the machine is horrible. That's where Xbox has the leg up, or they used to at least. Because I know they have new packaging now. I unboxed the digital Series X.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed.
Kind of weird, but
it didn't feel premium like the first Series X consoles.
Yeah, it did. So this one, the newer ones, I don't know what was going on with that. A lot of paper when I thought they were trying to cut down on paper. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit taller than the Slim, not by much. I don't like the race car stripes on it. I was like, what is that all about? Is that to differentiate? If you're going to do that, put some lights on it or something, make it blue. I don't know. The plates do not work from the Slim. The bottom portion plates work, but not the top. So now I'm stuck with a white console. I was going to put plates on it, but not doing that now. Besides that,
That's
I mean,
so
it's
bizarre.
pretty much the same. Yeah, it is bizarre.
Yeah.
But that's Sony. They want to make their money, I guess.
So I'll go with you, Mental. I mean, obviously you've had a breakdown and seen some of the specs and stuff on the console. What is, if anything, what is it about the console that may impress you? Being, like I said, it's such a huge PC guy, and what are some of the drawbacks? Because I think it's still using. I think it's not the GPU. Is it the GPU? They're still using an older variant or something like that again.
It's the CPU. It's still a Zen 2 CPU. Yeah, it's, as far as I know, it's clocked a little bit higher than the standard PS5. The issue with that is now they've gone to a much wider GPU, and the CPU is already the weakest link in these consoles. I know that sounds horrible considering it's a huge upgrade from the previous Jaguar cores in the previous generation, but the simple fact is Zen 2 is not a bad processor, but they're just not clocked very high on console. So all the games that we've played to date that have no performance mode and you're stuck at 30 FPS, it's a CPU bottleneck every single time. And until you have games that are fully optimized for 16 threads, it's a problem. And now that the PS5 Pro has even a wider GPU than what's in the Series X, you need even more CPU to keep that pipeline full. And we've already seen, I think Digital Foundry already did some testing. They found quite a few games that are CPU bottlenecks still with the Pro, and that's unfortunate. The only real alternative to that is to go to something like frame generation, which, insert fake frames. It makes it feel smooth, but it never feels quite right. And I've played with that extensively on PC. And if you've got a lower frame rate to start with, it just doesn't feel good to have fake frames in there because the response time in the controls feels off. But generally speaking, I think the most impressive thing probably in it is PSSR. It's nice to see a real machine learning solution. That was one of the things Xbox touted was their MLAI prior to this generation's launch. They've never used it. They have the capability, but they never use it. And that's, I think, as an Xbox fan, that's a pretty frustrating thing, because they've done that with a lot of the features in the Xbox. I mean, we still don't see VRS really being used. We don't see mesh shadings hardly used. All kinds of capability that's just sat on the sidelines and not been touched. Maybe with
from an Xbox standpoint, do you feel that is largely a decision because, again, they don't want to strain the developments of games because they are trying to get it to run on the Series S tech, so they kind of omit some of the things for the X?
Both GPUs have the same features in the Series S and Series X, so anything they implement on the Series X is only going to help the Series S do better. What I'm hopeful for is, now that the PS5 Pro exists, it has all the same features as the Series X now, and then some. So hopefully now we start to see those features getting used by third parties. And if Microsoft can get their shit together and start using it too in their first party stuff, maybe we'll get somewhere, and maybe we'll see some improvements. Although you look at the latest released in Black Ops 6 and it performs better on PlayStation, so I don't know what they're thinking there. Even going back to previous gen hardware, the PS4 Pro outperforms the Xbox One X.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense in the world, right? The Xbox One X has way more powerful hardware in it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's just that type of stuff drives me crazy. The Pro itself, I think it's a great piece of tech. I'd like to buy one. I just, in Canada it's $559, and I have a hard time justifying that when I've got a PC sitting next to me that's way more powerful. It doesn't really make sense, but like I say, I'm a sucker for limited edition hardware. So if they come out with a nice limited edition one, or if by some magical moment in life I get my hands on one of the 30th anniversary ones when they are released in Canada, then I'll buy that. But to just go out and buy the plain white one for that kind of money, it's a pass for me. I just don't need it.
So, I would have loved to have even just a PlayStation 5, but just the anniversary PlayStation 5. Would have loved one of those. I think they look so cool. But
you've got a chance. They're
really
coming out on the 21st. Nope, not in Canada. That stuff's coming on the 21st of November. So if you go to Best Buy's website, they're listing the Slim. If I can't get the Pro, I'm going to try and get a Slim.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, but I'll keep an eye out for that. Hopefully, I can get one before the scalpers.
Hey, maybe we can go line up together.
Is it going to be in store, or is it going to be online though? It's online, right?
Not sure. I'm not sure. They're showing it online on Best Buy's site. GameStop apparently is getting the 30th anniversary Pros. But it's been like pulling teeth to try and get any information about it. I've been to the multiple GameStops asking questions, and they're very tight-lipped, or they just don't know anything about it. So we'll see. But apparently it's coming, and GameStop Canada posted on X about it back on the 25th of September. And they said more information will be forthcoming. Nothing yet. So...
Talos says in the chat, you can't even get the disc drive because scalpers have been buying those up too. They're like, we're gonna make some money somewhere. We're gonna get those disc drives. Thanks, Matty Burns. We're good to see you in the chat. Yes, the show is back, and we're glad to be back here. And Nate's in the chat. What's going on? He says they are so limited. They should have all been pros or made the same amount of each pro and slim instead of splitting them. Also, Nate, I think one of the things that has come down to the pipeline when it comes to these limited editions is that they should have been available at retailers first and foremost. It should have been a retail first thing, not an online. That means you go in and you line up like you did in the old days. You get a ticket or some fucking thing. Like there has to be a better way than leaving it up to putting it online and having a guy bot and fucking buy bot and all the fucking consoles. Like there's got to be a better way around it. I think it's a shitty system, again, that doesn't work for the consumer that really wants the console as opposed to somebody that's buying them up to make money on them. So it's a shitty system. I wish they'd fix it because a lot of people aren't going to get one because of these methods. But back to you, Mental, on that point though about the PS5 Pro and some of the features, like you said, that could be utilized, or certainly the Xbox Series X may get features utilized now. We've always heard in the past, and it's largely been true, that developers always prioritize the most popular console first. Which has often been for decades, it's usually been the PlayStation because they sell more copies. So they work with that, and then they sort of port it down to Xbox and then try to optimize at a later date. So maybe now the Series X itself could potentially benefit from, developers kind of looking at these extra features of the Pro and saying, you know what, now we can kind of optimize better for the X.
Yeah. I totally agree. If they start using variable rate shading and mesh shaders and all these other features because they're doing it for the Pro, those features are going to be in the game. And in theory, the Series X and Series S should be able to take advantage of them. I think it'll be a good thing for Xbox owners to have this console exist. It's sad that Microsoft or Xbox decided not to do anything on their side, but especially when they had there was an easy one they could have done with these latest refreshes. They moved from 7 nanometer process to 6 nanometer process.
Mhm.
There's roughly a 20% power savings in that switch in process node. If they would have applied that 20% of power budget back into it, clocked it a bit higher, they could have competed well with the Pro. It wouldn't take much. They could have had a 14.5 teraflop system in a refresh without even changing the hardware, just by clocking it higher and taking advantage of a new process node. It's too disappointing they didn't do that, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just a dude on the internet, right?
Speaking of people in the know, let's give a big warm welcome to the one, the only Dee Batch.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Oh, he's got no signal.
Yeah, I'll send you on X. I'll send you like an icon that you can put there for me.
It's all good. Yeah, well, whatever you want to do, man. I think you should be able to just go through your settings when you come in there and add whatever you got from your PC or your phone.
Yeah,
it should be pretty simple. Yeah, it should be pretty simple. Well, welcome, guys. Dee Batch, yes, part of the RDX podcast. Hopefully that comes back at a future date, as we talked about at the start of the show. Again, dealer, if you listen or you ever catch up with the show, man, we miss you guys and miss the podcast and all that good stuff. But yeah, man, welcome to the show, Dee Batch. Your first appearance here on Gaming After Dark, at least since I brought the podcast back into the fold. So how's life been treating you, man? What's good?
It's been hectic, busy at work, and then you got the PlayStation 5 Pro out, and I'm all hyped about that. I'm trying to get footage, and I'm playing lots of games and analyzing frame rates, and then tons of games are coming out. Like, honest to tell you, I say this, I've been saying this for like the last couple of years, because last year was pretty crazy for games too. But this year is also insane for games. And I will say that, the quality of games is much better. Some people might not like the dialogue in certain games or might not like certain aspects of games, but we can't say we're not getting quality games right now, and we can't say we're not getting a variety of different types of games. So I think right now as a gamer, it's an awesome time, man.
No, it's no better time to be a gamer. Indeed, we've seen some really good games come out in the last few months alone. Call of Duty is one of the strongest titles they've had in quite some time. Everybody seems to be loving it. The numbers don't lie. It's huge right now, and it's killing it over on PlayStation. So they're just rolling with the bulk load of the sales there. Apparently, one of the charts I looked at said that the Xbox version was only coming in at around 10%, which is quite surprising. So I don't know if this is the Game Pass effect or what, but anyway, we're not here to talk about Call of Duty. I do want to talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro. Dee, I'm guessing you have one?
Yep, I have one.
I figured as much. What's the sampling size that you played so far? What games have stood out to you the most? As I was saying to Mental and Perry, that I think it's going to be much like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X were, that it's going to be probably a year or two before you really almost see games like just hammer the spec sheet on these things. Well, what stood out to you as impressive so far?
Gran Turismo looked really good. Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade looks amazing.
Her ass looks even better now, eh?
Yeah. Spider-Man looks good. I would say the Horizon remaster, but I don't know if that's just due to the remaster, not so much the Pro. What else?
I find it funny every time I mention Stellar Blade, Perry just somehow seems to have that copy ready to pull up on the screen. I think he's got it in his quick launch basket there.
Yeah. Stellar Blade's amazing. And then today they announced that Nier Automata.
I saw that.
Yeah, so that's going to be crazy.
2B,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. And Final Fantasy. I just started up Final Fantasy. Final
16?
Fantasy. It looks really amazing on it. But I've been just doing on God of War too. Shoot, I forgot about God of War. God of War. Now, God of War, holy smokes, the frame rate that I am able to get in God of War. Now, if is it the Pro mode? One of the modes, because they got so many modes and toggles on the PlayStation 5 Pro. You have so many different options. But one of the modes in the Pro mode, you're using PSSR, but I would say, I think it's the performance mode, or it might be the balance mode. It's one of them. But nonetheless, you're running it like 90, 100 FPS, getting up to 110 FPS.
Wow.
You know, it's going to 90, 95, 85. It's bouncing around in there, and it looks fantastic. So overall, I'm really impressed with it. And I got to disagree with you a little bit there. I don't think it's going to take 2 years for us to really see the benefits of it. I think realistically, it's going to take maybe 5 to 6 months for us really to see like a lot of benefits. I think some patches are going to be better than others. Right. I think it's like early days. These devs need to get used to the hardware and get used to PSSR. And PSSR, machine learning AI, it's the way it's designed, or just the way the nature of it is that it improves over time. So it's gonna get better and better. So I think we're gonna see a lot of stuff fantastic out of it sooner than later. I tried to put my thing up here. I don't see it.
Now, I don't mean to sound stupid, because I'm not a super tech savvy guy. I know Mental is really, really deep into it, as are you. So with these games, does the console itself automatically make the games better, or does each developer have to literally go back and sort of tweak every game with an update for the console?
So there's like a toggle in the system on the system level where you can enable PS4 and I guess by default PlayStation 5 games that aren't enhanced. They'll run better in this mode. So you'll get the full performance, or somewhat the full performance, of the PlayStation 5 Pro. So games that have a dynamic resolution, they'll scale up to a higher resolution. They'll scale to like 4K. Games that have an unlocked frame rate mode, they'll be able to take advantage of having the GPU overhead and not being GPU limited and getting more frames. You have it depends on the engine, of that game, and then of course developers obviously can go in and patch it. I'll give you an example. Call of Duty, it doesn't have the last time I checked, it didn't have a patch for the PlayStation 5 Pro. I know one is coming, and it was running a locked 120 FPS, like locked. It wasn't moving. And I think that game has dynamic resolution, so it would be scaling at a higher resolution as well, giving you a sharper image quality. And that's without any developer patching the game. So I can imagine when they patch the game, it's probably going to resolve with higher details and higher settings if it's already running at a locked 120 FPS with them doing nothing. So, it's fantastic. I'm hearing Wukong. I haven't tried Wukong yet. Actually, I probably won't try Wukong on the PlayStation 5 Pro because I have it for PC. It's just going to perform way better over there. So it's not a game I'm going to get for my Pro. But people are playing it, and I'm hearing initial reports. I have to see it for myself, but I'm just hearing that people are saying that game is running at 60, no problems, no issues. It's running well, and that's without a patch. And I know for sure that game is going to get a patch. And when it gets a patch using PSSR, I think it's going to look and run fantastic. So for me, the potential for the PlayStation 5 Pro is great. And because of PSSR, the rates of updates are going to come a lot quicker than a lot of people think.
It has a PS5 boost mode too, right? Like some of the old PS4 boost mode that can potentially give you a little more CPU advantage, I think, as well.
Yes. So that's what's happening. So when you put that toggle on, it also applies to the PlayStation 5 games. That's how Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is just running at a locked 120 FPS because of that toggle. I think if you turn that toggle off, I don't think you'll get the benefit of that. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't try that. I just put the toggle on and said, just go, baby, go. So
yeah, I think that was the first thing I checked on my PS4 Pro too, back in the day.
What was I going to say?
I'm going to come back in and out to see if I can get my avatar working. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Sure. Should work. All right. There you go, guys. Like I said, it's good to have Dee Batch here. Hopefully, he'll be right back. We're just trying to get the avatar up on the screen. Obviously, we know that cameras on this podcast are optional. The boys chose to go with their cameras. I still actually have to pick one up now, so I will hopefully pick up a camera sometime soon and can join the guys. There you go. Now we have a face to go with the name. And that was actually that was my train of thought. Thanks to David, who must have been reading my mind, because this was the next question I was going to ask the panel. And we'll start with Perry Mental and we'll work around. And the big question now it's still a long ways out, but the big question is, like David says, what about GTA 6? Well, he says 5 in the chat. But a lot of people are already asking questions. What does the Pro mean for a game like GTA 6? We haven't really seen a whole lot yet other than the trailer. It's kind of funny for a game that's maybe just about a year out now, and they say that they're going to hit launch, that we haven't really seen a whole lot more on this. Now, again, it's going to be a massive game. Based on the trailer, you can see that it's pushing the graphic envelope to a whole new level. It's going to be a lot of stuff happening on screen, so it's going to be a GPU and CPU intensive video game for sure. And largely, I think it depends on who's going to get marketing rights as well. I mean, really doesn't matter. Microsoft get them because they're not going to do shit with it anyway. But Sony damn well will. If Sony gets the marketing rights, and they likely will, in my opinion, they will definitely be touting, the Pro and plays best on our hardware kind of thing. So, Perry, what do you expect? What do you think we can expect, perhaps, when GTA 6 launches?
I think it'll be Pro enhanced. I think there'll be different modes for it. Obviously, the fidelity mode is going to be like the ultimate mode for, graphically looking pretty. Mm-hmm. But I think there'll be a performance mode probably for, bump down to like 1080p or something, so it could run at some sort of 60 frames. If not, then we know Rockstar, they'll just resell it to us for the PlayStation 6. That's how they go.
That they will, and probably the 7 too.
But is that imperative right now that they need one of the consoles perhaps to run this bitch at 60 frames? Like, that's got to be somewhat of a target. We know how difficult it is to do on open world, especially of a game the magnitude of this. But that'll be one of the huge things, getting the 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really fucking cares if it runs at 4K, but I definitely think a lot of people that are planning to buy GTA 6 would probably say whichever console can run this bitch at a pretty steady 60 is going to get their money.
Yeah, I would say, in all honesty, a lot of people jump on me and say, oh, it's not going to run at 60. Rockstar games were always 30. They don't optimize for console. Now, the last Rockstar big game, like Grand Theft Auto, was like, 10, 11 years ago?
Yeah.
The technology 10, 11 years ago was a lot different. And for the technology at that time, they got a hell of a lot out of Grand Theft Auto. So with the new consoles and for the amount of time that they've been working on this game, I'm sure it's going to be well optimized for consoles. And with this console generation having a variety of modes, it would be just asinine for Rockstar not to have different performance modes in this game. Now, going on a limb, in all honesty, as much as it's doing, I think there is going to be some type of 60 FPS or some type of uncapped mode in the game. I just don't see this game just running at 30 FPS. I just really don't. Now, I think there's going to have to be some sacrifices. There's going to have to be some trade-offs. So perhaps it's going to be at a lower resolution. Obviously they're going to use FSR. Perhaps they're going to use some frame gen. Perhaps it's going to be missing little things from. I think they're just going to scale it back slightly in those modes, right? So you can get 60 FPS, and they're definitely going to have a 30 FPS mode on the consoles where it's like this graphics balls to the wall. Activate 120 hertz, get like maybe 40 FPS or something like that, right? So I'm pretty sure they're going to have that mode. Now, for the PlayStation 5 Pro, I'm really going to go out on a limb and say that they're going to have a substantial 60 FPS mode that maybe PSSRs from 1080p up to 4K. Maybe they have another option, where it up-reses it a little bit lower to like 1440p, to get 60 FPS. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do, but I'm sure that game is definitely not going to run at 30 FPS. If I had to go on a limb, I would say worst case scenario, unlocked, that game runs at like 45 to 50 FPS on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, hear me out. With VRR, a lot of people say, oh, it's 50 FPS. With a VRR display, 50 FPS is pretty smooth. You're not really noticing that it's not 60 FPS with a good VRR display, so long it doesn't, drop past a certain level, right? So if it's staying, 45, 50, 40, 50, whatever in 120 hertz mode, it's going to be fine. You're going to have a smooth experience. But I'm also going to think that they would have a 60 FPS mode for Grand Theft Auto 6 on the PlayStation 5 Pro that gives you some type of higher fidelity, because that would be a huge selling point for the PlayStation 5 Pro. And if I know this, and you know this, and gamers know this, Sony knows this. They're not stupid. And I believe Sony is going to get the marketing rights for Grand Theft Auto. All these people holding out, saying, oh, maybe Xbox is going to get it, or crazy ideas. It's going to go to Game Pass. That's not going to happen. First of all, they're not the market leader, right? So we have to deal with reality here. There's 65 million PlayStation 5s out there, right? And there's like 29 to 30, maybe 31 Xbox consoles out there, with the majority of them being the Xbox Series S, which is the less powerful of the two. So I just doubt that they would be getting the market.
Yeah, Microsoft would have to sell the farm to put GTA in a Game Pass. I mean, considering that the 10-year-old game of GTA 5 has sold fucking 150 million copies already and continues to be in the top 10 charts even today in the UK is astronomical. Those guys do not need Microsoft to help push this game whatsoever. They're not ponying up that dough. It's Sony's going to take that bag. They're gonna hand them a little bit more just to get that marketing, because it's going to be huge to put that on the front of their fucking boxes. Have GTA on there, runs best on Pro. You know it's going to be true. Sony loves to tout that shit. And you know what? I have a feeling too, like much like Xbox kind of took a stab at PlayStation last gen when they made the Xbox One X to kind of say, look, we're taking the power. Now I feel like Sony's kind of taking that slap back at Xbox, saying, now we got the most powerful console out there. Now, how do you like that shit?
Now, if it's confirmed by Rockstar that this game is going to be 60 FPS on the Pro, and don't say it's not possible, because we don't know if it's going to be completely CPU bound. We know it's going to be heavy on the CPU, but we don't know what type of optimizations they're going to make. We don't know. We're all just kind of guessing based on past experiences, right? At the same time, we're seeing games on the PlayStation 5 Pro run at like 60 and above FPS, where on the base console they're running or locked at 30 FPS, or they're unlocked at like 37 FPS, and they're running like 60 plus on the PlayStation 5 Pro. So don't say that it's not a possibility for the naysayers. And like, once again, if this is announced and confirmed by Rockstar that it's 60 FPS on the PlayStation 5 Pro, gamers are going to lose their mind. And that system, it's going to be the hottest item. People underestimate the power of GTA because the last one hasn't come out for so long. But like you said earlier, it's been like number 1, number 2 in the chart for like 8 years. And when it dropped off from being the top on the chart, it was still like in the top 20, like after 10, 11 years of being out. That's just like ridiculous. Like, its overall numbers are ridiculous.
GTA 5 and Super Mario Kart 8 fucking just don't seem to go anywhere.
Yeah, man. It's just incredible. So it'd be a great selling tool for Sony and the PlayStation 5 Pro, and gamers would be they'd be losing their minds over it, man, if it was confirmed.
Okay. We're still going to move on from this topic. I mean, we could stay here all night, but with this topic, we will come back to the PS5 Pro topics in the future, because I still think we're going to need to see more games, see more videos and stuff like that to kind of fully get the gist of how this console really runs. But we were saying just before you came in, Dee, and it's kind of funny because I know, like I said, you're pretty well versed on the TVs, and I'm saying that the biggest problem that most people got, they're going out and buying all this great hardware, and they're getting the PS5 Pro and the Xbox Series X, but most people are still playing on piece of shit Walmart budget buy TVs. And they're like, yeah, because it says 4K in the box, these consoles are going to look great. And you're like, no, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Anybody that has a really good fucking television can tell you that you play it on a cheap one. Like right now, I'm on a 1080p RCA fucking piece of shit TV in my bedroom here, using my PC on it, and it looks absolutely fucking ass. Like, oh my god, it's so fucking bad. It's supposed to be 1080p, and I don't know what the fuck 1080p is supposed to look like on this monitor, because everybody here is about as fucking grainy as a bag of rice in a fucking shitstorm. Like, it's fucking terrible. But anyway, I think that's part of the equation. If you're gonna spend a lot of money, like $960 Canadian, getting a Pro, you guys might wanna. I hate to say it, but you might want to invest in a fucking decent television.
Yeah, I'll throw a bone out to the budget gamers.
Yeah, if you got a link, just drop in the chat, and the boys can. I can post it there too.
Yeah, TCL. Oh, if I could just remember the model right now, I'll tweet it out. I can't remember the model right now, but it's a TCL model. It retails for $500 in the States. It's $650 here. It's either $650 or $699 here at Best Buy or Amazon. It offers 4K, 120 hertz with VRR, HDMI 2.1. It offers really good HDR. It's got a very good screen, and that is like the best budget TV that you'll get. That you won't think you're playing on a budget TV. It's quantum dots. Like it's fantastic. Yep. Little known secret about TCL is that they are able to make quantum dot TVs because they do work with Samsung, so their TV quality is really good. I don't want to say all the secrets behind the scenes, but just trust me, TCL TVs, they're pretty good and they're very, very affordable.
Yes, I do see a few of them around, and their prices are very respectable indeed. Again, guys, like I said, if you've watched any of Dee Batch stuff on this channel, or you listened to him in the past, plus as well, there's a billion videos out there right now. There's lots of great videos online. So when you are buying a TV, do your research out first before you just blindly go in and plunk down in the store. Because sometimes, with Black Friday coming up, you will score a good deal. Maybe you'll get last year's model for a really good price. It's not that hard. Even when you go to places like Costco, they don't carry 1,000 TVs, but they usually carry decent ones to start out with. Like they don't really delve with like the bargain basement stuff. You're getting something at least mid to very high end. Yeah, specialized electronics stores for sure, but yeah, you can get some pretty good stuff at Costco without breaking the bank too bad. I'm due for an upgrade myself, but that's not coming for a little while yet. Any further thoughts? Bentley, you look like you had some stuff to say on the PS5 Pro before we kind of round out here.
Yeah, I'll just throw in my 2 cents on
Go ahead.
What I'm expecting for GTA. If there's a performance mode on PS5 Pro, I mean, ultimately, open world game like this, it's going to come down to how many NPCs are on the screen, how many physics activities are taking place, because the game's going to be CPU bound before it's when you have GPU issues, it's easy. You just lower the resolution, you throw in things like PSSR, things like that will easily soak that up and bring your frame rates back up. When it's CPU bound, you're dealing with a whole bunch of different issues. And we have seen some games like Dee mentioned are performing much better on the Pro, and then there's other ones that just are still CPU bound. So it's really going to come down to how well it's using all 16 threads, how well balanced that is, and that they're getting the absolute maximum out of that CPU, because that's still the issue. The IPC on a Zen 2 CPU is just not that great, and when you downclock them to 3.5 to 3.8 gigahertz, they're pretty weak by today's standards. So if Rockstar is super serious about it, it's possible. I think you could see a performance mode, but I think you'll be sacrificing in those areas I mentioned, less physics, less NPCs, things like that on the screen.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the one con about the PlayStation 5 Pro. You're right. The games that are GPU bound, that's it. Just increase the GPU. You're gonna get higher frames. Some games, they're CPU and GPU bound, so you'll get an advantage there. The PlayStation 5 Pro, you get about 10% overclocking improvement. And there's some other things, some other optimizations that they do that you can get in some scenarios, like 15 to 20%. This is not all the time. It's just like with optimizations where you could possibly get a uptick in performance. I know certain games, they're offloading certain stuff from the from the CPU onto the GPU to get more performance. This is the stuff that devs are telling me behind the scenes. So there's little things that they can do, and I agree with you. If Rockstar is serious, they can do it. But you're right; it's going to come at the cost of of NPCs, of physics. They're maybe in a 60 FPS mode, car explosions. Physics aren't activated or something.
As long as those hookers look good at 60 frames a second, baby. Let's go.
Less hookers on the screen. There you go. Everybody be playing quality mode.
When you hit Granny in her stroller and she goes flying through the air, she better be going at 60 frames at least.
I got a question for Arnold later.
Oh, great.
Oh, boy.
I can't wait. Anyway, guys, PS5 Pro is out in the wild. Like I said, they're not cheap. Certainly up here in Canada. Damn strength of our stupid-ass Canadian dollar. Right, D?
Live in Canada tax.
You know what? Honestly, the price here, when I saw the price Canadian, I was like, holy, I got like sticker shock, man. It was crazy. So I offsetted it by selling my PlayStation 5 for $500. So it wasn't that bad. And then I have so many controllers. So the controller that came with my PlayStation 5 Pro, I'm gonna sell that too to offset some of the costs. So for me, it was worthwhile. I can write off most of this crap anyway. So
I've got the Spider-Man special edition one, so I don't want to sell that. I'm keeping that for life, but I don't know. I might sell one of my Series X consoles if I really feel desperate. But I was saying earlier, I tend to be the limited edition guy. I like waiting for limited edition consoles before I buy one. If they have, the 30th anniversary is coming. If I get lucky and I can get one of those in Canada,
so hard to get.
I'll buy that. But
here we go. Well, all I can tell you before we close this topic is somewhere out there's some dude in Canada who's about to face a divorce because he spent his mortgage payment paying for a PS5 Pro.
No doubt.
That's one of those where the guy goes into the store and the worker's like, "Come on, you sure you don't want this?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, I got to check with my wife. I got to talk to the boss." You better fucking talk to the boss. All right, Sony's loving it all the way to the bank. It's
never be me.
Right now. No, absolutely. Gaming is now a rich person's hobby. Well, you're not far from it. It's getting freaking expensive. Heck, a lot of the games are starting to hit $100 a piece in Canada. Crazy. There was some game the other day I was looking at. It was like $105 or something like that before tax. I was like, holy shit. And we don't know. Rockstar, speaking of that, and GTA, they're already debating potentially boosting the price of their game because they say it's a lot of hours to play in it because they see the value. But I've always said that's kind of reverse opposite because they're going to sell 1 billion to these things. GTA 6 comes out, it's going to be a runaway hit. Even if the game is absolute trash, it's going to be an absolute smash hit. Yep. Its first week alone, I bet, is going to set a new entertainment record. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's gonna smash all the records. You can take it to the bank. It's gonna smash the records. It's gonna be huge the entire year. It's gonna be probably for the next 10 years until they make GTA 7, if ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And think about this. All the people that grew up on GTA for the last 11 years, they're adults now. So they're gonna buy the game again. The new generation is gonna buy the game, or the mid generation, and then the younger kids are gonna buy it. Like, it's gonna do gangbuster. And the generation that was after the last GTA, the guys that bought it before that, it's gonna. I honestly tell you, it's gonna be. I don't know, man. It's gonna be a cultural event.
Must be nice to be a developer like that or a CEO and sit back and know that the game is going to be a massive hit before it even hits the store. Like, you don't even have to debate.
That's crazy.
You got to, for perspective, GTA 5 has sold over 200 million copies.
Wow. It's insane.
It's completely nuts.
Wow.
And it's 10 years.
And it's not a game that people aren't playing anymore. They're still playing it.
They're still playing. That online keeps going.
It's nuts.
It's wild. It's wild. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens when that game comes out next year. So we're a long way before we get to that. Big surprise came out in the last couple of days here on Xbox. Nobody saw this one coming. I think we kind of felt there was something in the works, but 3 years ago when behind Phil Spencer, his infamous wall, there was a little space dude, a little Ludens character from Kojima Productions on his wall. And we all kind of speculated then perhaps Death Stranding may eventually come to Xbox or something along that lines. Well, guess what, guys? Here it is. The infamous walking simulator, the game that so many people poked fun at for so long, and I was one of those included. But I did go out and buy the game relatively soon after it came out on the PlayStation 4. And to be honest with you, I don't even know. I can't even explain that game because, one, it's weird, but I couldn't also explain how it hooked me in. How once I got started and I kind of grasped the mechanics of the game, I couldn't put it down. Like I was just enthralled with the game. It's like nothing you've really ever played, and it had fantastic graphics. And like I said, it was fucking weird as all hell, but it was a cool game. And I'll still never forget Dealer's infamous video where he made the video of Norma Reedus walking with all the ladders and shit. Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
The fucking best pieces he ever did. I still laugh about it to this day. But he did one when that game first came out that was just dynamite. Just had me howling. The piss bombs, you kill the BTs with piss bombs. That's literally what it is. And you got a fetus in a jar, Norma Reedus and his walking fetus, going around shaking this little jar and a baby. Ah! And it's crazy too because the fucking sound comes through the damn controller and you hear this kid crying and shit. And it's like, man, this is trippy ass stuff. Yeah. But it's out on Xbox now. People are playing it. Apparently, they're actually saying they're actually liking it. So, what do you guys think about this surprise launch? Came out of nowhere.
For me personally, I never liked it. I played it on the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
I got it for free on PC, and like I go through it. Like, the game looks fantastic. I don't even want to say the story is like awful or anything like that. I just get bored. It's just the pacing of it. It's just not for me. It's a beautiful looking game, but yeah, it's just not my type of game. I'm excited that Xbox guys like they get to enjoy the game, but at the same time, it was funny to see a lot of Xbox guys that didn't like the game. Now suddenly they love this game, and I'm just gonna be consistent. I still don't like the game. Like it's just not for me, but it is a fantastic looking game. One thing that was interesting though, and I noticed this from Digital Foundry's analysis of the game, it actually runs better on Xbox than it does on PlayStation, which is kind of strange.
Crazy Greek summed it up perfectly. You get something this weird game, but somehow you just want to keep going. It's just again, it's not a game that's going to please a lot of people. The people that love it. People that don't, and you're not going to change anything. But you give the guy credit. He tried something different, and I guess the intangible about Death Stranding is the fact that you're playing with other people, but you're not. Like they're not live in your environment, but they are. Like you walk around places, and there's ladders left for you, and there's messages left, and there's things like this. So everybody that's in that online attached world technically is helping you out along the way. So the more players involved in the game, like you'll see packages that people dropped, and you can pick them up and bring them to these the different dispatch areas and stuff and get points or whatever for them and that sort of stuff. And there's ladders and there's tools, and it's actually a lot more now. Like from the first time when there was a lot less people playing it compared to now, like it's actually pretty cool. And when you get stuff like the vehicles, you get a motorcycle and you can kind of ride around a little bit, and you're not just sludging the whole time. And I found it was less tedious too. You had to make more trips, but don't overload yourself. Because the first time I played it, fucking unleashed a stack so much shit on my back. I was like freaking Santa Claus with a giant sack, and I was fucking falling down all over the place. That's hilarious. Shit's floating down the fucking river, and then you're trying to run away from the BTs, and they're grabbing you by the foot and shit, and then everything's falling down. You're like, god damn it. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mental. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, no, I'll echo a lot of what Dee just said. I think it's arguably the best looking game from last generation. I think it looks fantastic. I've tried to play it, I think 3 times now, and I think the longest I've lasted is about 5 hours. Now, I'll confess, I haven't played it or tried it, I guess, for 3 or more years at this point, and I was still playing Destiny back then. So as a true Crackstony addict, I just couldn't stay away from Destiny long enough to really get involved in it. So it's a game I want to give another shot. I do have it on PC. I have it for PS4 as well. But I'll go back and give it another shot because I agree. Who said that in the chat? Someone said that it's Crazy Greek Dude said it's one of those games you kind of just want to go back to. You want to go back and try. And I keep thinking, like, as I played the beginning, there's something there that I think could kind of get me into it and keep me interested. I just need to focus on it so that when I go back to it, I'm not sitting there going, what the hell was I doing? What do I do here? And you forget everything because I'd leave it for like weeks at a time. So it was, I think that was a big part of it for me, but I'll definitely give it another shot sooner than later.
How do you feel about that, Perry? Did it catch you off guard seeing Death Stranding come to the Xbox finally? And apparently Kojima now owns the IP.
Yeah, I woke up and I saw on Messenger, because we have a group chat, and the guys posted, and I was like, oh, that's nice. I'm going to go get my PS5 Pro now. Like, it is what it is. It was a little shocking, but it's kind of good because now more people can enjoy it. They can make more money over at the Kojima Studios, and that's pretty much it. It's an okay game. It's not, for me, I played it for a couple hours streaming it, and I turned it off. I never turned it back on. But I kind of had fun with it. I just didn't know what the hell was going on, and I'm running around doing stuff. But it was a fun stream when I played it, so yeah.
To any of the PC modding guys out there, you should make that game and substitute the main character with Peter Griffin. That would be hilarious.
Oh man!
Yeah, fuck! I gotta walk again, guys. Peter Griffin or the old guy with the walker, the old grandpa guy. I can't do those impressions. Sorry. Anyway, further thoughts?
No.
I'm
good. Yeah.
That's it. Everybody wants to move along from Death Stranding. Okay, it's not really a big topic. It was a kind of a surprise thing. A lot of people caught us off guard because it kind of just dropped out of nowhere. It's not like there was an announcement. It's just like, oh, Death Stranding's on an Xbox. Actually, we were like, what the fuck?
Have they said anything about the exclusivity with Death Stranding 2 since this dropped?
It'll probably be very similar to the current deal, which it must have been a 5-year exclusivity deal.
Well, I don't think it'll go 5 years again.
That long, no.
That's not going to happen.
Maybe and I mean, the 5-year thing, I think that's more of a coincidence than maybe an actual exclusivity deal, because Kojima was struggling at the time that they signed this deal with Sony. So maybe it was 5 years, or maybe there was no exclusivity deal at all. But I mean, they bought the IP back, so it makes me wonder whether or not they can do whatever they want with it now. And what the terms of that buyback was. Maybe that eliminated exclusivity for Death Stranding 2. We don't know because no one said anything. I was just curious if you guys had heard anything.
Not sure at this point. Like I said, Kojima owns the IP, but Sony will have exclusive rights to the game for some period of time anyway.
I would expect that. But
like Dee said, it probably won't be 5 years because the game is sort of a little bit of an established IP to this point. And I highly suspect that Death Stranding 2 will probably do double the numbers in sales early on than what the current game did, because, again, it was a new IP. And I think a lot of people went out and bought Death Stranding based on the fact, again, Kojima's name was attached to it, that sort of thing. But now, like I said, if you love the game, you're probably already getting ready to buy Death Stranding 2, like Nate said in the chat. And if you didn't love the game, well, you'll move on to something else. There's plenty of games out there, so. I would like to see the second game, if anything, that I've learned, and I haven't beaten Death Stranding, by the way. I definitely, it's on my list of games to beat. I'm like almost toward the end of the second chapter, maybe the third chapter. I forget which one it is. So I still got a ways to go, but I would like to see a little bit more like stuff happening per se, or a little more combat oriented as opposed to just walking around with packages and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean.
Something to kind of keep you from fucking wandering off and dozing off in the middle of those long treks,
Yeah.
So, yeah, anything, something like that to just kind of speed it up a little bit. I mean, but, then again, if you kind of mess with what sort of makes the game, then you could sort of break it the other way, too. You don't want the game to all of a sudden become this fucking, shooter kind of a game. Then it, takes on a life of its own. So.
Sure.
Jago Kuka's in the chat. What's going on, my brother? Good to see you. Innate says, if you make it to getting your first weapon in Death Stranding and still not feeling it, then it's just not for you. I don't think I got my first gun yet, though. There are lots of piss grenades and shit, but yeah.
It's a slow crawl. I describe it like a Sunday afternoon movie. You know, it's like a slow.
That's an interesting description. Quite fitting.
I'll tell you the one thing though. The first time I played through it, actually, there's one mission like early on in the game where you have to bring one of the dead bodies to the incinerator.
Yeah,
and that's one of the spots where you're really going to run into your first sort of mass amount of BTs. And first time I did that mission pretty well. I got it in there all said and done. The second time around when I played it on the definitive edition, or what do you call it, the director's cut. On the PS5, I fucked that mission up, kind of fell down and stuff and lost the body down, and he fucking incinerated and blew up. It was like a big like nuclear explosion, and my dude comes back and like there's a big fucking crater in the map now. Like I was like, that's freaking cool.
I think that happened to me actually, thinking back, but rings a bell.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like some of that shit in that game is just like, man, that's trippy. That's trippy. But anyway, guys, Death Stranding, if you haven't checked it out yet, like I'd say take advantage of it now because I think it's still on for a little bit, half price or something like that as well. And it is the director's cut, so the definitive version of the game. You can pick it up right now for Xbox. Cool stuff. Alrighty. Before we move on to get to a couple more topics, I do want to quickly talk about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. There was a deep dive on this game at about 15 minutes long. I got a chance to watch the video earlier this morning. I was absolutely blown away. I think we talked prior to coming on to the podcast that Perry and Mental, you guys hadn't checked it out yet. Dee, I'm assuming that you probably did check out the deep dive video.
Yes. Which one? Indy or South of Midnight?
No, well, I watched both of those today, actually. South of Midnight looks really cool, but the Indiana Jones one.
Yes, I watched it. Yes.
What's your takeaway?
So, first of all, I have a video that I'm dropping later today, probably after this show.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was disappointed that a lot of Xbox guys were not talking about it. Like yesterday, everybody was talking about Death Stranding. I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about Death Stranding for? That game's like 5 years old. It was free on PC. It has showed us a deep dive of Indiana Jones, and it looks really good. Why are you talking about that?
I thought about Spyro too today.
Yeah, I thought it looked. I thought it looked really good. I was just disappointed that it's first person. I think that's a missed opportunity because we're always comparing Uncharted, we're always comparing Tomb Raider to like what an Indiana Jones games would be like, and then for them to make it first person, I think is really I don't know. I think it's a missed opportunity, just being honest. But apart from that, everything I saw looked really good. I thought the hand-to-hand combat looked good. I thought the graphics looked good. I thought the lighting looked good. I thought the character models looked good. I thought their skin tones, the materials used for their skins and the textures. I thought the game looked really good. It looks like it's a little bit stealthy. Like it might be more heavier on the puzzle side. But I think there's also going to be some good action sequences. But it's an Indiana Jones game. It's supposed to be like that. So for me, I think it captured the tone and the atmosphere, and I was impressed. Like it's not a game like, oh, this sucks. Like it's a game that I want to play. Now some people are saying, well, it's because I'm older. Maybe it's like the older generation that grew with Indiana Jones. That's why you like it. But for me, I don't know. It looked good to me, and I think it's going to do good. And once again, it's in Game Pass. Game Pass is going to be crazy this season. You got Indiana Jones, you got Flight Simulator 2024, we have Call of Duty that was in there, we have Stalker that's going in there. Like I don't know, man. The service is fantastic. I'm excited for the game personally.
No, you're absolutely right. You hit everything on the head from the video I watched today. I mean, it was a lot different than the earlier sort of trailers that we've seen where you get snippets. Now you got to see a lot more dialogue. You got to see some of the stealth mechanics and how that works along with some of the hand-to-hand combat. There is a lot of exploration in the game, which is great because Indiana Jones, that sense of mystery and exploration of finding the secrets throughout the level and some of those things you're going to pick up. You're gonna use that to navigate the levels and find, to solve the puzzles and different things. I don't know how the complexity of that's going to work out, but let's assume it's going to be a little bit of thinking, but not not brain busting crazy. You want to keep the pace up in the game too. You don't want to have players getting stuck all over the place. But again, like Jago says, it's machine games, man, and they haven't made a stinker yet, really. So I have high hopes about this one, and it's got and Troy Baker's doing a pretty damn good job of imitating the
really
voice
good
of Harrison Ford. I got to say,
they sold me on Fight Club, man.
Did they make that? Who?
No. There's a secret part in the game where there's like a fight club, so you can go into.
Seriously?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I didn't know what you're talking about there for a second, but yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff in that game. There's lots of the whip usage as well, clinging on to stuff and swinging through the air and avoiding the pits. And yeah, it's going to pretty much awesome.
I just thought it looked fantastic. I'm sitting there saying, is this the Xbox version or is this the PC version? Part of me was saying it's the PC version. Then I was looking at certain parts and no, maybe this is running on Xbox. Like it looked really, really good. It looked very clean. I didn't see like any jagged edges. Like it just looked really, really clean, especially when it goes into like third person and you're seeing the character and just the character models. I don't know. I don't know why gamers are not talking about it, because for me it was impressive, and it's going in Game Pass, man.
Yeah, it is going to be Game Pass day one. It comes out in spring. Yeah, the version that I watched was actually taken from the PlayStation 5 because it had the actual PlayStation icons when he was doing.
Well, it comes out next month, not spring.
No, for the Xbox is next month. For the PlayStation, spring.
Yeah.
So, I'll be getting it on PlayStation since I am no longer Series.
Oh, you're gonna wait to get it on PlayStation? Oh,
yeah, I'm Series X.
You don't play on Xbox anymore? I'm not up to date.
I'm still on Xbox, but I only have the One X right now. I'm very limited as to what I can play.
Right.
As you know me, and I'm not a Game Pass supporter really. I still can't jive with it. I don't know. It's still got too many issues, but that's just a Nukem problem.
Yeah, but if you like, you know what, man, you like what you like. If you like to have physical hardware, there's nothing wrong with owning physical hardware and do it while you can, I guess, right?
Dee, with me, it's not just the physical side of the coin. It's just how much Microsoft put all the eggs in this one basket and changed their whole goddamn way of doing business because of Game Pass. That still has me pissed off. I just can't let it go. I feel like if Game Pass never existed, the industry doesn't shift the way it's shifting right now.
I can understand some of your sentiment. I personally like Game Pass. I think it's one of the best values in gaming.
So, it's definitely a great value.
So I champion it, but at the same time, I do understand where you're coming from, and at the same time, I think without Game Pass, I don't think Xbox would be alive. I don't think they'd be around. I think that's what kind of saved them. And at the same time, it's changing their model. But what pisses me off now is that you got all of these studios. You acquired all of these studios. You finally got the freaking upper hand where you can have some good exclusive stuff on your platform that is quality. Not just exclusive, but quality. The guys have been trying to put you out of business year after year, that you went to court and complained about and said, like, these guys, every dollar they get, they try to put you out of business. They try to money hat these games and take them off your platform. And then now you're going to go and put your exclusives that the core wanted you to have for the longest time. You're going to start putting some of them on the PlayStation. That's the point where I just drew the line. And I said, to hell with this console. If people don't care, if Xbox doesn't care about this console or where I'm playing games, why am I sitting here hyping up this console? I'm just going to play my games on PC where they look and run better, and I can play all my Xbox games on PC. So that's my issue with them, because it just makes no sense. I understand like a game like Doom. Like I wasn't expecting when they bought Doom for them to make it exclusive. I get it. It was on another platform. Continue to make that money, because those companies, when they bought them, they were a multi-plat company. And if they change the structure of the company, that company is just going to stop making money. So I understand it. But at the same time, you have new titles that you don't need to make exclusive, that you can just put on your platform. And, I just didn't like that. And even Indiana Jones, I don't think that game should go on the PlayStation 5. I'm going to rant now. You got me started there, man.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. And I'm going to guarantee you, I think the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be a multi-plat. Take it to the bank.
Yeah, the Indiana Jones, even if they were gonna, I don't think that game should have been exclusive to PC and Xbox. But even if you're gonna put it on the PlayStation, you should have not announced it until the game came out on Xbox, until maybe January or February, just surprise, say, hey, this game is coming to PlayStation 5. You would have sold more Xbox consoles over the holiday.
Yep,
you would have sold more copies of that game. But people know it's coming to PlayStation, so they're gonna wait and hold out. I'm not saying you, for instance, but maybe if that game was just going to be on Xbox, maybe you say, oh crap, I'm going to sell my One X. I'm going to sell a couple controllers. I'm going to go grab the Series X. I know a lot of people that wanted to buy the console for that game or certain games. And now that some games are announced, or the possibility that other games could come and exclusive games could come, it kind of loses that lore for Xbox and that desire that, yeah, I got to get this console because I'm only going to be able to play that game here, right? So that's my beef with them.
Yep. Oh, it was the way they announced it too. Like Keeley with the and there's one more thing, like, yeah, I don't know, big grin on his face. He was pretty happy about it. I don't know. It's kind of eroded, I think, a lot of the fan base.
It has.
They've done this. Everyone was expecting, myself included, that 2024 was going to be the year of redemption for Xbox, where they're finally in a cycle where they can start putting out first-party games, and instead they turned it into a dumpster fire in a matter of months. And I don't know. I mean, I've been a PC guy for over 30 years, so it is what it is. But I've liked Xbox. That's been my go-to console for over 20 years. I've been on Xbox Live.
Same.
And see, I'm letting my Game Pass run out. If I do want Game Pass, I'll just get the PC version.
Well, I'm not. You know what? I might do that actually, because I'll probably save a little bit of money if I just get the PC version, especially if I'm not playing on the console. But I'll say this,
especially in Canada, right? Canada's like $26 a month now. If you pay monthly, I mean, there's better deals out there.
Yeah, I get
that. You go to CD Keys, you'll get it for half price or whatever. But I mean, that's not the point. To be frank, that's not the point to me. The point is they've kind of just fucked their brand. Sorry for my French.
To echo your sentiment there, I've been with Xbox, I don't know, 20, 25 years now, like from the start. So I've been championing them for the longest time. I've supported them year after year. When they were up, when they were down, I was there. I supported them. So I don't understand how gamers get upset with me and say, "Oh, you're some turncoat." Like I've been an Xbox fan longer than some of you guys have been alive, and I'm just tired of them losing, and I'm tired of the messaging and always fumbling the ball. And I have the right to say enough is enough. I don't hate Xbox. I'm just not going to champion the console. I'm just going to play all my games on PC because Xbox says play anywhere.
And it's the constant deceit. It's the constant deceit and the lies. Like they come out and tell you one thing one week, and about 3 months later, they basically revert on what they told us. And look, every one of us, remember when the Activision Blizzard deal went down, right? How many fucking podcasts were there talking about that deal? And you cannot tell me that 99.9% of us guys who are Xbox first were not fucking over the moon excited, because it not only meant that they're going to extend their library games and they're going to get all these great studios under their portfolio, but it was also because, oh man, Xbox is going to get fucking serious with this shit now, and they intend to compete. Like when Satya said we're going to compete, like we thought that's compete is like we're going to take it to fucking Sony now, and we're going to start selling some fucking consoles. We're going to start selling some PCs. We're going to start selling a shit ton of fucking Game Pass. And people were like, yeah. And then what did he do? Yeah, let's just dump all this shit on the PlayStation. Fuck all you guys and all the money you've spent in our ecosystem because you thought it was the best place to play. We're like, we don't care if you think it's the best place. We want to put our fucking shit on refrigerators. We want every kid in every fucking third world country to make sure you can have an Xbox game. Like, it got stupid.
Yeah.
And you can't take that back. People know what they got excited for, and they weren't getting excited just because they spent a couple $100 billion on the fucking deal. They got excited because, it was the deal, but it was also because we thought it meant that Xbox finally says, we're going to fucking take this shit seriously. We're going to kind of restore faith in the brand, restore faith in the console ecosystem. That's why we built the best and most powerful console in the fucking ecosystem. Is why we're giving you Game Pass. And then to turn around and it's just like, yeah, because we need to make more money, we're going to dump shit over on the PlayStation. The guys who fucking cutthroat everything the past 20 years have been money-hatting every fucking game, every fucking exclusive, shitting on us hand over feet. You know, like just Sony's one of the dirtiest ass fucking companies I've ever seen in my life with all of their shit. And then Xbox, here you go. They wouldn't do that to Xbox. They wouldn't give us fucking shit.
No.
Right? Yep. But here we are. Nintendo still hasn't given in and given all their properties to people, and they're not going to.
No.
Anyway, that's my rant over. I know I talk with Perry. Me and Perry are pretty damn fucking close when it comes to this topic, and we feel the same way. We've invested thousands of dollars on Xbox, hundreds of hours into their games, and like I said, if Gears E-Day goes to fucking PlayStation, I am done. I'm talking about really done. No more chances for these guys. They can eat
what
shit.
If Gears E-Day comes to the Series X and it runs at 30 FPS, and I got to play it on PC anyway? So what the hell's the point?
Right.
I don't know. I could say a lot of stuff on here, but people are going to get mad at me. So
it's all right, man.
Maybe I should just keep my mouth shut.
Get enough flack on your own show, buddy.
I was promised the world's most powerful console, and I remember in June or July of 2020, Phil Spencer was quoted as saying, "We're not ready for the power of the next Xbox."
Eats monsters for breakfast.
Eats monsters for breakfast. And now this thing, I had to run Hellblade 2 on my PC just to get 60 FPS.
It's been eating shit for breakfast. That's what it's been eating.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have the machine still, but I mean, what the hell's the point?
Guarantee with that game. Watch Hellblade. Hellblade is staggering in sales. It's not exactly lighting the world on fire. How much you want to bet? Fucking probably by next year. It's going to come to the PlayStation. It's going to get a fucking frame boost.
Pro enhanced.
Yeah, it's gonna come to PlayStation. I'm pretty sure Starfield is gonna come to the PlayStation as well. We've been hearing about that.
Starfield's one right there. They said that wasn't going to run at 60. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you're seeing Call of Duty run better on the PlayStation regular, not even the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Oh yeah,
regular. It's running better. Like that just pisses me off. Like
right?
How is it running better? Like you have the world's most powerful console, and you guys know beginning of the generation I was out there touting all the features and all the bells and whistles that the Xbox Series X had, and it did have those bells and whistles, but developers never really used them. And you can't say, oh well, the third-party developers didn't use them. Microsoft never used them either, because they didn't amount, they didn't amount to anything. It really didn't. The big thing was mesh shaders. I ran with the mesh shaders, how it's just possible on the Xbox Series X. And then we found out, the PlayStation 5 can also do mesh shaders. And there was some contention because they don't call it mesh shaders. Well, they don't use DX12, so they're not going to call it mesh shaders. They're going to call it something else because they're using a different API, but it does the same damn thing. And the developers from Alan Wake confirmed it. The developers from Avatar confirmed it. And how else is the game running on the PlayStation 5? The game is a mesh shader game. It doesn't have any component of it that doesn't have mesh shading. If you didn't have a mesh shading GPU, you couldn't play that game. So,
they do mesh shading with their geometry engine.
So much lies from them, all the software that they promise, and it's Microsoft. You expect them to excel in the software department, and I've just got to be honest as a tech guy. It was PlayStation that excelled in the tech department in this generation because their console is 2 teraflops less than the Xbox Series X, yet it outperforms it in many games or ties it. Yes, Xbox gets some wins, but for the most part, it's either tied or the PlayStation 5 is winning. So, I don't know what to say, man.
No, you said it perfectly, Dee. We totally understand your frustration. I think all of us here that invested in a Series X, and that's a good portion. If you're an Xbox fan, pretty sure you have a Series X, and you bought it simply because you were touted. Right? We were touted it was going to be able to do this, this, and this. Had all the right numbers under the hood. It was like, holy shit, this is quite the jump. And like I said, for whatever reason, most devs never tapped it.
Nope.
And even COD, like you say, the standard PS5, What about the PS4 Pro outperforming the Xbox One X insignificantly? Like, that's disgusting. There you got a console with 50% advantage in GPU and another 30% on CPU, or no, not 30, about 10% in CPU. And it's being outperformed by the Pro? It doesn't make any sense. That shows you, what they think of their own systems, that they don't bother to optimize coming right from a first party.
What game specifically you're talking about? Because
Black Ops 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Black Ops 6, the PS4 Pro, is the best of the last gen by a significant margin. It's hilarious. What are they doing?
I don't know. I have my video coming out today. I do talk about the next gen hardware, and next gen they're kind of deviating from what they normally do. It's going to be very, very interesting, and I think next gen their console will be good, but gamers are going to have to wait because it ain't coming out tomorrow, man. It's going to take some time.
The crazy thing is, I still got my One X, and my One X still performs a lot of games as good as this fucking current gen does.
Yeah, like
go back and play. Like the One X was like fucking. That was an unbelievable system. Other than that, really slow ass fucking hard drive, that thing was wild.
Yeah, One X was good. One X was good, man. We got that full 4K, right? So we're like, whoa, 4K.
Yeah, my shit looks awesome on it. It's good stuff.
I can always throw an SSD in and it helps a little bit.
I gotta get out of here. I just want to say real quick though, just
while
we're on this topic real quick. Another thing that pissed me off is that Microsoft announced a price drop on the Xbox Series X to $449 from $500 US, which I thought was good. But then you look at the all digital Xbox Series X, the 1 terabyte, it's still at $449. They didn't lower it another $50 to match the price cut of the
so why wouldn't you take one with a disk drive in it, right?
Yeah, which makes no sense. And then Sony, once again, like I'll be honest, Sony's business practices, they're dirty dogs. Like,
dirty.
Let's just keep it real. But they're cutthroat, man. And they came out today and announced a price drop on the PlayStation 5 Slim to $380.
Yep.
Like just cutting Microsoft's feet right under them. Because when I saw that $450 price rate cut, I was like, yo, that's pretty good because they got a bunch of Game Pass titles that are coming out. So people will probably invest in it for Game Pass because it's cheaper than the PlayStation 5 now at this point. And then boom, they cut the price of the PlayStation 5 digital. Now I'm gonna assume that Sony is smart and the disc version is also gonna get a price cut. So I don't see the disc version also being the same price. And I don't know, man. Microsoft just can't catch a break. and once again, like I was saying earlier, they had a good showing with Indiana Jones. I don't see hardly any content creators talking about this game. Unbelievable, man. But I'm out of here. If you guys want to see about that game and all my tech stuff, watch the video after new show tonight. I don't know. I'll probably post like in the next half hour or so. It'll be up. Thanks for having me, bro. Sorry I couldn't stay so long. And sorry I came late.
Hey, man, I'm glad you made it. You made it for, pretty much one of the main topics of the night. And I knew it would be a great input from you. Like I said, you're always tech savvy and always enjoy your takes on that stuff. And hopefully we'll get you back in the future here, Dee. I greatly appreciate it, man.
Yeah. And nice meeting you, Perry. And I can't say your name. How do you say
this? Mental 9R.
Okay, Mental 9R. Okay.
Yeah, call me Mental. Man, call me Mental. Everyone just call me Mental. It's all good.
Yeah, he used to be 69R, but that didn't go over well.
Changed it up a bit. Getting old. Can only do 19 now.
All right. Thanks for having me, man.
Cheers.
Take care.
Take it easy, man.
The one, the only Dee Batch. Again, thanks for being here, Dee. Drop a link later on tonight. Make sure you go check out his channel and all the stuff that he's dropping down. Again, Indiana Jones, coming out. Like I said, it's crazy that more people weren't talking about this today. It's a fantastic video. The game looks dope. Go get a copy. Whether you're picking it up on Xbox or on PlayStation, Indiana Jones, it looks absolutely amazing. Just a real quick one, Astrobot. So far, my game of the year. Just finished it last night. Some of you guys in the chat were able to catch me live streaming the game over on my YouTube channel. I got to finish off the game. It's about almost 14 hours. It took me to kind of beat the game from start to finish, and that's not a full completion. I'm going back and working on that right now, as a matter of fact. But what an incredible ride. I just want to say Astrobot and to the team at Asobi, man, you guys killed it. if you're not playing that game, I'm going to ask yourself, especially if you're a platforming fan, why not? Because it's just amazing. I mean, that game has got so much variety from the start of the game to the end of the game. The amount of shit that you can do, it takes some of the best parts of almost some of the best platformers you've ever played, and puts them all into one smorgasbord. Not to mention the great nostalgia, the great throwback to people that grew up with PlayStation from the original days right on through. I mean, even down to the interactive credits at the end of the game when you beat it. Just phenomenal. What a ride. Great controls, great graphics. They corrected every issue that came with the Astrobot game that was packed into the PlayStation 5. I don't even know if some people even realize there is an Astrobot game packed in with the PlayStation 5s. But they just nailed it, right? It was just an amazing game. Definitely at this point in time, unless something else comes along that's just blows my mind, it is my game of the year. And apparently they've only sold about 1.5 million copies of this game. And I think that's absolutely just blows my mind. Now, I've been told, and you guys, I'll get the panel to weigh in on here, that the price has something to do with it. But the funny thing is price never stopped the Mario game from selling. And they're $80 up here in Canada, 69 or 79 in the States. And they never stopped those games from selling out. So why is it Astro? Because people just don't know the property. Like I said, good games should just sell, right? So why is it not selling? Did Sony do something wrong? People just not sold on the property? What is it, guys? Perry, mental jump in here. This game should be easy at 10 million copies right now with all the PlayStation 5s out there. But 1.5, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not where Sony would have liked it to be, or Sobe perhaps, considering the pedigree of this game. What do you think? Perry?
I think if this game was like $29.99, $39.99, it would have sold a lot more copies. The game is good. I think it was overpriced for what it was. But after playing the game, I really think it was worth the price of admission. But I think the perception was the first game was a pack-in for free. Right. We're going to wait till that price comes down a little bit. So I think if they did launch it between $30 and $40, I think they would have sold a lot more copies. Just my opinion. The game is great. I love it.
And it will come down. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not one of the games
Black Friday,
on sale somewhere on Black Friday, whether it's digitally and in stores or the physical. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure this game will pick it up over time. Maybe it's a slow burn, but that 1.5 is nothing to sneeze at. But yeah, you're totally right. I definitely think price is certainly to play, especially when there is so many games out there to play and everybody's competing for your money. It came out at a very crowded time of the year as well. It just beat out a few titles, in that release window. But like I said, it's tough. But again, the platformer games are not a dime a dozen anymore. They used to be one of the biggest type of games at one point. Now, like you get a couple a year at least of this caliber. Like it's crazy. But like I said, if you don't have the game, put it on your radar if you like these kind of games, because it is dope. Mental.
So yeah, I mean, 1.5 million, that's like what, a 2.5-3% attach rate. So on the surface, it's not that great. When you think about it in terms of it being somewhat of a niche product these days, like you say, platformers aren't as huge as they were, unless you're playing on Nintendo. Now, I don't think PlayStation at this point in its life cycle is really known for platformers. I mean, people are buying it for the third-person over-the-shoulder games. They're buying it for shooters like Call of Duty, things of that nature. People aren't going out and buying a PlayStation for platformers.
True, because even Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart didn't light the world on fire. It did marginally better, I think, than this game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why we're seeing sales numbers in that range more so than anything else. I do own it. I remember you cursed me out, Noof. You said, hey, get out there and buy it, support the devs. So I do own it on disc. I actually got the controller. I got a controller in the physical copy bundle. So I did pick it up when I saw that. I thought, shoot, because I was kind of mad I didn't get the controller because I think it looked awesome.
It is.
So when I saw the bundle, I thought, you know what? I'm going to pick it up. Noof said so. I got to do it. And I just haven't got around to playing. I played about an hour or so, just the beginning part, just to get a feel for it. It seems really fun so far. I'm not typically a platformer kind of guy, but it seems pretty fun, and I thought at the very least my daughter's going to play it because she loves that kind of stuff. So,
well, let me just tell you, not to ruin stuff, but when you get to some of the later levels, especially the ones that actually they kind of mimic the levels based on some of the popular games of PlayStation, like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Uncharted, and one of the last ones is Horizon Zero Dawn. That's when the game also shines because it uses elements from those games, but yet it's still Astrobot. It's just genius. I mean, you turn into everything from having turn into a mouse and one of the levels, and you're going to become a miniature. And then you get this dog jetpack that makes you blast through walls, and you're flying around. And then you got the boxing glove thing where you're grappling things and punching shit. Like, there is just so much variety in that game. It's just nuts. And and then collecting all the characters is really fun too, because there's always a couple special ones per level that are based on, again, some of PlayStation's games, past and present. Everything from Katamari Damacy to, there's even stuff that's like Crash Bandicoot. You collect him in there, and you get to collect Metal Gear,
I saw that.
Snake, and so many more. They still got all those kind of licensed properties in the game, which is pretty cool to see.
Right on. Yeah, no, I'll definitely be playing it eventually. It's just time is always of a premium, so I will get to it though. I feel kind of dumb having bought it, and it's been sitting on the shelf for, I don't know, couple months.
You bought it, man. That's all that matters. That's a huge step forward. So kudos to you for that.
I'll be doing it eventually here for sure.
Perry's got it. See?
Yeah.
Perry's got it. Perry's got everything. Perry over there. It's on my shelf. Talking about the game, he pulls out the case. It's like, what the fuck? He's like an encyclopedia over there.
I feel like I should go get my Stellar Blade and my Astrobot now so I can hold them up too.
Now, if I bring up Leisure Suite Larry and he pulls out the copy of Leisure Suite, then I know, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't have that one, but
yeah, I'd have to go to the basement for that one.
I love it. Stellar Blade and Astrobot, two phenomenal games. This sounds awesome. Time is a premium. You're absolutely right about that. Your take on that? Well, I think you just said it, Perry. Like I said, the price you think had more to do with anything. Price competition. But again, Sony can remarket the game. Let's put a price drop on it, get it out there. Maybe even at some point too, like if they got to do a promotional bundle and toss in that game with a few consoles, would be a pretty cool idea to get that game out to get more people playing it. Because again, if nothing else, people deserve to play a good game. So, you'd hate to see a studio like that, Team Asobi, ever get shut down or something, because they definitely got their pulse on the right thing here. And again, the good platformers are not easy to come by anymore. We don't get as near as many as we did in generations past. And this one was damn good.
Yes, I agree.
You guys think 100%. It will be in a Game of the Year nominations at the Game Awards?
Oh, I don't know.
Based on the Meta scores, absolutely. I don't see how they'll miss it.
I think it definitely it'll definitely get a nomination for the platformer, right?
Yeah,
in that
it'll
segment.
Be in there, yeah,
I could see that.
Whether it gets in the overall Game of the Year, I think it will. I think it will. It has pretty high metas, so but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think so. And then to the point on price, yeah, if it was $49.99 US, probably would have sold a lot more.
That's a great question from Crazy Greek Dude. Whatever happened to Sackboy and Little Big Planet? I don't know. Media Molecule, didn't they shut those guys down? The last game I think they made, wasn't it that weird paint game on the PlayStation 4?
Didn't Sumo Digital make the Sackboy game?
They made one of them. It was Media Molecule that started out with it.
Right.
Sumo may have took over. I think Sumo did Sumo did the one that just came out on the PlayStation. Oh right. They did make one because I have it, for fuck's sake. Little Big Planet on the PlayStation. Am I right, or is it a PS4? They
came out on both.
Yeah, they just made one not too long ago. I think it was during the launch of the PlayStation 5. Wasn't it around the launch?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there was a game on there. I was going to say, no, I'm not going fucking crazy because I know I played it. It's also got co-op. But you're right. Sumo made that one, but Media Molecule is the original developer. They did the first couple of games, and then they did Mod Nation Racers, And then they moved over to a couple different games, and then they did that weird paint sort of game that came out with that kid or whatever. Concrete Genie, I think it was Media Molecule. They moved on to a few different things, yeah. But Sumo did the latest game. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Frank says Sackboy launched at the PS5. You're absolutely right. Yes, it was the first platformer outside of Astrobot, and then it was Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. So Sackboy lost his nuts. Sackboy had his bag deflated. All right. Any further topics here, guys? We're soon going to wrap the show. I did want to talk about one. I'm going to try to bring up the link on screen here, guys. And we'll talk about it just because of the implications that something like this could potentially have down the road for our countries. If you've been following the news over pretty much the last couple of decades, but more so recently, there's been a lot of talk about video games and violence in video games. And this also transcends over the social media platforms as well, which often promote video games. They're talking about, apparently it's in, again, this is going in Australia, and they're talking about apparently. Let me just copy the link here. Hopefully this works. I'll try to drop it in the thing here. But they're talking about basically making an age restriction for things like certain video games and certain media. Hopefully this is it here. All right, I'm going to try to bring it up on screen so we can get the gist of it here. Bear with me for a second. Share screen. All right, here we go. Let's see if this works here. Add the stage. All right, here we go, guys. So what it says, PlayStation Network may soon be permanently unavailable for millions of you. Again, maybe. This is not definitive. But if you live in Australia, gamers fear the PlayStation Network will be inaccessible due to a social media ban. Australia's Prime Minister and Labour government leader Anthony Albanese is looking to change social media laws to protect those under 16. This is great news in some ways because there are a lot of dangerous people online who can hide their identity and use that anonymity to manipulate, which, yes, I totally get that side. They amended the Online Safety Act, which looks to be introduced in 2025, which would put a countryside ban on those under 16 years of age from accessing social media platforms as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. This ban could even be extended to the likes of Twitch and YouTube. And what's more, this ban may even have a direct impact on video game platforms like PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, and Nintendo Switch Online. So this comes down to the government overreach. Do you guys, how do you feel about something like that? Our government's really just is they just taking all this shit really too far? What do you think? That could have serious implications.
Oh yeah, Australia got into an argument with Musk too over a video that was on X not that long ago, and it ended up getting to a point where X itself banned that video from being able to go into Australia. Mm-hmm. But I find this kind of stuff, I don't know, I feel like it's over the top personally. I mean, if parents are teaching their kids about the real world and what's out there, mm-hmm. to me, I think this is just over the top personally. Yes, mm-hmm. It's a big dangerous world, but there's predators outside your door just walking down the street.
Absolutely.
And most of the online stuff is going to be coming from people that are nowhere near you. If someone wants to get your kid, they're going to get your kid. That's the reality of it. So you got to teach your kids to be a bit street smart and understand what's going on in the world. And, not only that, there's tools that parents can implement on their own. If they really want to restrict this stuff from their kids. Mm-hmm. My kids both have Net Nanny on their devices. I lock down websites. I lock down all kinds of crap. They can't go on social media. Well, my daughter can now because she's older, but when she was younger, absolutely not. And that there's tools out there that parents can use to regulate their own kids. And I don't like the government stepping into my house. That's
absolutely. And like I said, what happens is it starts to set these dangerous precedents, right? and then other countries sometimes start looking at what's successful or unsuccessful, may follow suit. We've certainly known that, in the good old USFA and up here in Canada, there's always these discussions around video games and the age restrictions and banning this and banning that. And again, like the crazy part is, they keep bringing up all these M-rated games, but again, they're rated M for mature. It's no different than a movie. Movie theaters don't let kids go in to watch M-rated movies, but gaming seems to be an another loophole. And I think, again, as long as the people that run our countries are sort of like, they're the kind of people that never grew up with gaming, so they still don't fucking get it, despite being told by all of us, like, you guys just don't get it. They still have this mentality that these are toys and these are for kids, and that's why they treat it like such a, they don't. I mean, I'm not saying that movies never get a slap on the wrist, but they never seem to come after the movie industry like the gaming industry. Here's like this Terrifier movie, for example, causing people to leave the theater because it's so macabre and disgusting. But where's the outrage on something like that? Let's ban these movies. I don't get it.
Perry? See, I think these government guys. Sorry, I'll just finish the thought here while it's on my mind. These government guys don't understand. There's parental controls that parents can use on consoles. My son can't play anything that's outside of his age range without asking for permission. Doesn't matter if it's on disc. Doesn't matter. He can't even log into his console unless I let him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's things that can be done here. Parents just need to take the reins and actually do it.
Exactly.
Don't let the government dictate how you run your house.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
We used to do a pretty good job of keeping X-rated porn away from kids when we were growing up. I mean, it's much harder to do now because you can find it anywhere. But the fact is, we kind of monitor certain things, and now I think a lot of these apps are going to have to self-monitor themselves, where that if you're signing into an app and that you're of a certain age, there's only so much content on that app that should be actually that you should be able to witness. You know what I mean?
Yep. Sorry, Perry, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with everything you said, Mental. Also, I think they point the finger, like I think we talked about this last week to an extent. I think they point the finger at gaming and not movies, because you point your finger at movies, where do you point at? Hollywood. When you point at gaming,
right,
there's no central hub of gaming, because games are made in Japan, they're made in Europe, they're made all over the place. So it's easier to point the finger at something you can't fix than something that you can go after, what you really can't go after because lobbyists and all that stuff from Hollywood. So you always got to point the finger elsewhere. And since you can't pinpoint it on gaming, that's why I think they pointed at gaming. So we've been hearing about this stuff for years. At least the United States, they really don't do anything about it. They put the ratings on, like 30 years ago when I was a kid. That's pretty much all they really did. They pulled Grand Theft Auto for the hot coffee thing, but I was able to get a copy and it's sealed, and it ain't worth shit now, so I still have it.
Yeah. Well, it's censoring after the fact too, like having game companies go back in and remove shit from games and edit games, alter games. That shit's bullshit too. It's just like a lot of these movies. That's why they say that's why the physical is still great, especially when it comes to the movie industry, because if you've got an old copy of something, you get the real version, where now they can literally go back in and change a digital version. There's nothing you can do. Take a character out, cut a scene, whatever, and you're like, that fucking is gone. It's fucking sad. I mean, it's a freedom of expression. It's entertainment, and again, I don't know. Like, it's just, again, it's the article. I just wanted to bring it up just because, again, with the implications that it could have. And I think Talos Ray in the chat, I think he lives in Australia. And like these guys down in Australia, they're getting absolutely wacky about everything down there. It's like crazy. It's like what the fuck? Like, what are you going to treating everybody like they're 13 years fucking old down there? Like, what the hell is going on? It's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring back full frontal nudity. Chase Jones says, "Hey, you don't need a movie in the game industry to bring that to you anymore. Now you can walk down the street. Heck, they got parades up here in Canada where fucking dudes walking down the street with masks on, their dogs hanging out in front of the kids. Like, what the fuck? It's weird, messed up, man. Honest to God, everything's kind of messed up these days. But that's a topic for Another day for sure. I want to give a shout out to the chat. I haven't acknowledged people for a while, but we got some great people in here. Like I said, Anthony's in the chat. Dreadpool is hanging out with us tonight, guys. Chase Jones, my brother, is in here. Iceman LMH is here. What's going on, brother? Stevie Max in the building. We got a Nate here hanging out with us. Talus Ray here. Timothy Dixon. Man, you guys are amazing. Crazy Greek dudes in the building tonight. Matty Burns is here. And my good friend, Old Wild Bates. Well, he's Mike Bates in the chat right now, but we know him as Wild Bates. Good to see him finally back in the chat, as well as You're Wicked Hot. I don't think he was in the chat tonight, but I was playing some Call of Duty with him yesterday. Great guy. Me, him, and Bates had some great gaming sessions together. Good to see him back here, guys. A lot of great support, despite the fact I know that some of you guys that keep supporting me don't agree with some of the shit I say, but I love the fact that, you're mature enough to agree to disagree and move on, right? It's fantastic.
Just like it used to be.
Absolutely, right? Agree to disagree, move along. We're all adults. Like, that's what's wrong with society now.
Exactly.
That's what's wrong with politics. It's no longer, I don't agree with your policies or what you're doing. Now it's like, if you don't agree with my opinion, I hate you. I want to kill you. It's fucking stupid.
It's gone off the deep end.
It's so dumb, man. It's so dumb. And I blame a lot of the media, because the media throws fucking narratives out there all the time and people just go with it. You're getting inundated with. That's the thing. Like, when I grew up as a kid, all you saw was what you saw in the evening news, probably when you're eating your dinner before you went to bed. And now you got social media platforms plastering you with it, and fucking there's all over the place. You can't get away from it. Like, my timeline, because I commented on X, like, I have some political comments or I like certain political things. Guess what my X timeline looks like now? It's fucking all political posts. It's fucking bullshit. I said, I don't want to see all this crap. Right?
I liked one of your comments about Trudeau way back when. I lost 10 followers on that. And the funny thing is, I knew the second I hit it, in my mind, I knew who was going to unfollow me. Like, at least half of them I had pinned it, and sure enough, they were gone that same day. And it's like, come on, people, seriously. These are people I interact with on gaming, or had interacted with on gaming regularly, and they unfollowed me over one like.
Crazy, right?
It's insane.
How silly is that?
It's insane. And I hope the world gets back to the way it used to be. I mean, I had friends of all different political backgrounds and opinions. We used to just razz each other. You guys lost, haha. And it was, big joke, right? And we'd go out and have beers, and it was fine. What's happened to that? I don't know. The weird's gone.
Arnold Schwarzenegger said it himself. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California, and he said it himself. He said it himself a couple weeks ago. He said, "Don't trust any politicians. The majority of them are all scumbags one way or another." Basically is kind of what he said in a nutshell. He said, but you do have to, get out and vote and exercise your democratic rights, or you're get out and do that and see where it lays, and it's not much different up here. But Canada politics are getting much like the States. They're getting very, there's a lot of theatrical bullshit now that wasn't there years ago. It's crazy, but I don't want to turn this into a political podcast, but just saying, it's just, the world's going nuts, man. It's hard to know who to believe and what to do anymore, man. Oh man.
Anyway,
but live your life to the best way you can, and hopefully everything falls into place, right? The end times are here. They could very well be, if you're but anyway, we're gonna get ready to close down the show. We are hitting that 2 hour point. Do you guys have any topics or anything else you want to bring up before we roll the end of this show here?
No, but speaking of Arnold, I have a question for him when he's ready.
Go ahead. We might as well bring in the old fancy ones. Mental, if you haven't been out of the loop. Handy Andy is kind of here, but we don't have the camera issue thing right now with Handy Andy. So most guys are throwing questions on Arnold, Cletus, and Safe House Sam for the most part. So if you got questions for any of those guys, have at her.
Arnold, I heard you have a brand new game in development called Stellar Maids. Will it be Pro Enhanced for the PS5 Pro?
Of course, it's going to be Pro Enhanced. It's a fantastic game. I want everybody to play it. It's going to be a lot of ass. And I mean that in figuratively and literally, because you're not only get to get some great female ass, but you're going to get some donkey ass. You're going to get a whole lot of ass, and it's going to look great in the game. We're going to call it the first level. It's going to be the maiden voyage. Yes, you're gonna cook me some breakfast. It's what you're gonna do there. It's gonna be great. We're gonna line them up. It's gonna be a great game. It's gonna have action. It's gonna have sex. It's gonna have all sorts of crazy stuff. And I'm going to be the star in it, but I'm only gonna have a small minor role. You'll have to find me. I'll be like the secret level, and you want to come out there and find me when they're going to do it.
Oh man.
Jeez.
Should be like
I'm still confused over the donkeys.
Arnold has a donkey.
Arnold has donkeys. He has two of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. He has a donkey and a pony. He feeds them on TV.
Yes.
On YouTube.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. I forget the names of them,
Good.
but yeah,
I'm out of touch with Arnold.
He actually does videos of that. It's crazy. Yeah, it's funny.
Wow.
We got a question in the chat. Boy. Oh, we got a couple questions. First one here. Would you host a VGA? Honestly, I've gotten my schedule is very busy, and I don't want to be out there hosting a VGA, especially with Jeff Keighley, because the guy is a complete moron. And what can I tell you? I don't want to be up on stage getting upscaled by Hideo Kojima. You know what I mean? I mean, honest to God, I'm at my age, I'm already dead stranding. You know what I mean? I'm already just, I am my own personal walking simulator. I put the backpack on and I walk around the house and I plan that I'm going to deliver parcels to you. That sort of thing. So no, I don't want to do the VGA. I will keep my appearances for better shows than that.
That makes sense to me. I mean, geez.
Chase Jones. Go ahead, Barry.
Oh, here you go. Arnold, what maid was your favorite? Whoa. Favorite to snort cocaine off of. There you go.
I've got so many maids at the mansion, Chase. It's very hard to tell which, honestly, that's the great thing about ass. When you got them bent over in the asses in the air, most of them are all the same. Unless you got the one that's got lots of pimples and like cottage cheese dimples in the air, something like that. But honestly, when you turn them upside down, all you know is the hole is brown. So you just want them to get done do it. So it's all good. I do snort it off of anything.
I think that's the first time I've heard Arnold almost break character.
Oh man, everybody got a question for Arnold. Where's the safe house? Where's Cletus? Anybody have some questions there?
Well, I got one more for Arnold. Will you remake the game Choplifter where you save the maids from the burning buildings?
That is a fantastic question, and honestly, I just want to make Choplifter just so I can have the line in that game. Go get to the chopper, save the maid, do it. Come on. And then the Choplifter, at one point in the game, you're going to have Jesse Ventura. He's going to be on the end with this big old Gatling gun. He's going to be laying down the fire. And I'm going to be just up there in the chopper. And I'm going to be dropping bombs all over the place. It's going to be an incredible game. It's going to be like Space Invaders. I'm coming to invade your space. What are you going to do about it? Let's go. I like to tell the wife sometimes to say, you know what, go down to Burger King. Go now, get me a Whopper.
That's the Whopper.
You got any questions? Safe house, Cletus, before we wrap this one up? Hey, Wicked Hot, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in here. Speaking of Wicked Hot, I was just mentioning the guy earlier. Any questions? Arnold, Cletus, Safe House, chat, anybody? Have them now, because if not, you're going to have to wait till next week.
That was Jesse Ventura in Predator with Arnold, wasn't it?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite
Batman
line.
and Robin.
See, that's a movie right there that has lines in that movie that would not fly by today's standards. And he says,
I think
you're nothing but a bunch of slack-jawed faggots around here.
That's right. The one I was thinking of is he's like, ain't got time to bleed.
I love that line.
Like, oh, why would you get hit? You're bleeding.
I've got time to bleed. Oh, man, that's so good.
It's funny.
Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, there was a lot of good memories. Bill Duke was in there. Sonny Landham, God rest his soul. It was
great movie.
Great scenes. It's such an iconic movie, man. And that's one of those movies that, even though it came out in 87, you can watch it today and it still is good.
Works.
It just still holds up so well. It's so good that way, and Carl Weathers is in there, God rest his soul, Love that. I mean, who that first scene, when they meet up and they do that arm lock and the two guys with some really good pipes on there. What's the matter? Yeah. Did CIA get you pushing too many pencils?
That's right.
Love that.
Right? Love that line. It's a great movie when there's so many lines in it that you could that you can remember.
Yeah.
Safe as Sam is still alive with that. What cop? What
COPD? That's a medical term.
Jeez.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, listen here, now, T-Shows. I'm not going down quietly in the night. No one likes Independence Day. I'm here live in the flesh. And my throat might give out at any time. Let me tell you that right now, boys. But first of all, we got two sexy-ass, bald sons of bitches in the fucking power desk tonight. It's amazing. I want to say it's really good to see fucking Mental 9R back here rolling with you all. Man, the fucking smart, let me tell you. He got a lot more brains than Noof Nukem, let me tell you that right now. You want to listen to that guy, you know what you're talking about. Noof Nukem, he fucking stupid as all hell. I don't even know why I even hang out with Noof Nukem. He smells like fucking shit, and he talks too much shit, let me tell you. And you know what you say, if it looks like shit and smells like shit, must be a piece of shit. Anyway, I want to say Dee Batch was in and out. It was fucking awesome seeing Dee Batch here, motherfucker. You know, with so many goddamn tech terms, he sounds like a Bible for fucking computers. I don't know. He's always preaching and teaching everybody up in here. Let me tell you, you guys are fucking awesome. Look, we got Mike Bates. We got fucking Wild Bates in here. He could have been Master Bates for all I care, but he's back in the chat. You wicked out there, Joe. We got the whole fucking enchilada up in here tonight, guys. You fucking awesome. Now, I want to know who's sending me a box of seagulls for Christmas, because let me tell you, I am down with getting throat cancer this year. Let me tell you, I'm tired of living. I'm tired of living, and I'm tired of giving. This is the perfect time to get some seagulls for Christmas and fucking rock this cock, baby. Let's go. Jump on. Let's go. We're right, bitch. Let's go.
Wow.
Wow. God damn.
Man.
Wow. Well, we got a question for. See you later, Mike Bates. Catch you later, man. I got to play some games sometimes. All right, we got massive pipes. Must be watching the wrong movie. We got a question from Chase Jones.
Cletus, how much moonshine would it take to become the Prime Minister of Australia? There you go.
Well, he's feeling it. Let me tell you this right there. I'm going to tell you. First of all, I've had so much moonshine in the last week that let me see, I've eaten the Prime steak. I've subscribed to Amazon Prime, and I'm probably going to become the Prime Minister of Australia because my accent is almost the same, and I'm definitely smarter than a lot of them guys in Australia. I'll watch these. They fucking screws kangaroos. I think that's what's going on down there because they all fucked up, man. To some of their fucking political policies that don't make any fucking sense. I can't figure it out. As stupid as I am, the stupid shit that the Australians are doing, I don't fucking understand this at all. I don't understand it. The only thing I like about Australia is because it calls it down under. And let me tell you, I like it when my woman is down under my chassis. That's what I'm talking about.
That'll get you some votes, Cletus.
Oh man. Great stuff, guys. Awesome questions. We're going to wrap the show up. It's been Dynamite Mental. It was really good to have you back on, brother.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Have you back on the show again here soon, for sure.
Had a great time.
Well, Mental, like I said, you got your own channel. It's Caffeine Entertainment. You're putting out some great videos the last little while there. I've been catching up with them when I can. Let people know how they can catch up with you and check out what you're laying down.
Well, at Mental9R on X, Mental9R on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam, basically anywhere you can play games. And as Noof said, at Caffeine Entertainment on YouTube. You can also find me on Fridays. I'm on with the guys at TSWS Gaming on Friday, late afternoon Eastern time, typically. Don't always make it. Sometimes I got to do stuff at work. Even though I start early in the day, they keep me going longer. But I'm there pretty often too. So yeah,
go check him out, guys. Obviously, he was a co-panel member of mine on the last podcast I did, the Gaming Fuse. If you guys have forgotten about that, it was a great little run when we had it. But took a little hiatus and came back and thought, hey man, like, and I thought about, you know, trying the gaming fuse again, but ultimately it's just, I think this is the one that just fits me and fits the time slot. And, you know, when people think of Noof Nukem, this is kind of the podcast that normally sort of pops in their head as Gaming After Dark, you know, so that off the wall, anything goes kind of show. So yeah, it's been working out pretty good so far, and I'm enjoying the run that we're having. So, but it's good to have you here, Mental. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, like I said, coming back next week, we'll hopefully have Foxy Proto back in the house. I don't think he might be just popping in quickly next week. I don't know if he's going to be for the full show or not because he's still busy with work, but look forward to having him back. And always, we got the Game Complainerz, Mr. Perry. Let people know where they can check out you and your channel and what's going on.
You can check me out every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We have the Game Complainerz podcast. We talk about all about gaming and the latest news. We break the fourth wall. We just act crazy. People take what we say seriously, which I don't understand. It's clearly us just messing around. But
it's okay, you handle them quick.
Oh yeah, I had some crazies, but they get sent to the nut house pretty quickly, I guess. And then every Monday on the same channel, we have Common DualSense, a PlayStation podcast. Now we do an Xbox podcast every once in a while. Mainly the Game Complainerz is our Xbox podcast. But I do unboxing videos for Xbox and PlayStation. I buy everything. I play everything. We talk about PC. I build PCs on the channel. It's crazy. But I'm a PlayStation fanboy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from.
He does a lot of builds. He does a lot of restores and stuff like that. Just restored a couple of Super Nintendos.
Yeah, I restored a Super Nintendo. I didn't film that, but I posted it online. We had a Super Nintendo come in. It was the plastic was all yellow and brittled out, and it had actually come apart. So I ordered a new case, slapped it right in there. It took about 20 minutes. Super Nintendo was like brand new, and that's it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so my channel is right here in the chat as well. If you want, you can subscribe.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it out there. If you want to post it in, there you go, guys.
Mental's channel in there as well.
Yeah, I did.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
So write that down, take a screen capture, whatever you got to do, but go check those guys out and subscribe. You guys play games? Yeah, most of us do.
Oh yeah, it's a weird concept. Play anywhere, probably but only on Xbox, right?
Probably going to play right after.
Play everywhere.
And tomorrow night, speaking of game, I'll probably be doing my streaming night again tomorrow night, which should be, I think, what do I do? 6 or 8 o'clock Eastern, or no, sorry. 10 Eastern, 8 Mountain Time. Stream night for me on my YouTube channel. I'll probably be trying to finish off Alan Wake Remastered, most likely, unless something changes, but we'll see. Who plays games? Thought Twitter was the only game. It is. Actually, it should be a game in itself. It feels like a game
feels
sometimes.
Like
it does, right? It's pretty crazy. It's some great entertainment, that's for sure. We got one more super chat coming in from our good friend RWK88, who drops $1.99 US in the chat. Go ahead, Mr. Perry, read that one away.
Great show, guys. Glad you're doing this again, Noof. Well, thank you again, RWK. Appreciate it.
Thanks for that, my friend. And that's exactly why I'm doing it again, because the love and support that you guys have shown me over the years, even though you probably shouldn't have shown me the love and support, but I appreciate each and every one of you guys. A lot of long-term friendships in this chat. Guys I play games with, people I talk to all the time, people that send me private messages. Awesome. Like Matty Burns, he's in the chat, and it's funny because he brought up earlier in the chat, and I saw it too, Matt. You were talking about Dead Space 3. Me and Matt were playing that co-op together. We must have started that like 3-4 years ago. I think we never did fucking finish it. We kept playing a little bit at a time, and then we'd take a break and we'd play a little bit again. It's kind of hilarious. It's one of those games that's still on the old backlog that we started that hopefully maybe one of these days we'll finish. If not, we'll start something new. I want to pick up that new Warhammer Space Marine game that's out. That's definitely on my get list, and that's apparently co-op, so I'd love to play that with somebody. So that's one of them. And for those of you, like I said, I'm playing Call of Duty Black Ops on the PlayStation. So if you're not familiar, if you want to still play the game with me, when you're in on your Xbox, because I know most of you guys are on the Xbox first and foremost, go to your Activision IDs at the top of the page. I think I put it in my Twitter already, in my X handle. because it's like Noof Nukem, and then there's a hashtag, and then there's like a bunch of numbers. I think it's like 503, whatever the hell they do. So just add that. You should also see the clan post because I have a clan in front. It's got GAD, Gaming After Dark. So that's another easy way to find me. If you'll know you got the right guy, just add me there on the Activision IDs, and we can still cross-platform. And yes, we can still talk because I did that yesterday with your Wicked Hot as we were playing the game. No problems. It worked out really good, actually. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, we got Dreadpool. I'll drop that in the chat, guys. If you're not following Dread already, check that out. Breaking Bread with Dread. And Dread is also the member of various podcasts as well as his wife. Great people. Go follow them. Show them some love and support. They're awesome.
Awesome people.
And we also got another great channel. Check this channel out, too, if you haven't done so already. Majestic Mayhem on the 4GQT, youtube.com. Go check their podcast out. A bunch of great ladies talking gaming. Good stuff. Go hunt Doggy Dog down. Absolutely. Not here tonight. Crazy stuff. I didn't see Doggy Dog in the chat tonight, but he's normally here. But we love you, Doggy Dog, man. We'll catch you later, bro. And Cougar Man, thanks for coming out. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We'll catch you guys next week. As for me, like I said, I'm Noof Nukem pretty much everywhere. Give me a follow. Hit me a like. Chew me out. Chew me a new one if you don't like what you heard, but at least leave something. Let me know what I'm doing right, doing wrong, and all that good stuff. And hopefully we'll keep this thing going. But until next week, y'all have yourself a great night. And again, thanks to Dee Batch for coming in and being our amazing guest tonight. Look forward to getting him back in the future, especially when there's lots of great tech stuff on the go. Man has a pretty good vibe on that sort of stuff. So, all right, guys. Anyway, have yourself a great night, and we will see you again next Tuesday.
Peace.
Cheers.
Peace, guys.